Hello everybody and welcome to race time here for the first ever Hyderabad EPrix. It's the first time we've raced here in India for 10 years since Formula 1 last was racing here at New Delhi for the Indian Grand Prix. The first FIA World Championship event in a decade. It's a fantastic city, it's vibrant as well, and we're getting ready for what should be an absolutely fantastic race. It's one of the fastest street circuits we've ever had here in Formula E. And we've got around about half an hour until the red lights go out for the first time. Let's take a look at the drivers and the constructors' standings. So coming into round 4 of the season then, it's been Dennis and Wehrlein domination. Dennis winning in Mexico, Wehrlein doing the double in Saudi Arabia. After this, in 2 weeks' time, we're over in Cape Town in South Africa before a month's break before Sao Paulo. A further month before we return to Europe with a double in Berlin. Monaco, then a double in Jakarta. Portland on the 24th of June. Double in Rome on the 15th and the 16th of July. And then double in London on the 29th and 30th of July to round out the season. In the Drivers' Championship then, we see Pascal Wehrlein leading by 6 points to Jake Dennis after those 2 wins in Diriyah. Sebastian Buemi is nearly 30 points back, more so as well. He's in 3rd position. Sam Bird 4th after a bad start in Mexico, a good weekend in Diriyah. Jake Hughes and Rene Rast doing well for Neo McLaren. Degrassi, Lotter and Mitch Evans and Nick Cassidy round out the top 10. On the second page as well, the last drivers with points as well, with DaCosta 6th, the same as Vern, 4 for Fenestras, 2 for Mortara, Van Doorn and Tictum on 1 point. No points for Gunther, Nato, Roland Muller, Sete Camera or Van der Linde. But as we look at the vibrant city of Hyderabad, this is the Teams Championship. Amlin Andretti lead by just 2 points to Tag Heuer Porsche. They have a big gap to Neo McLaren. Envision Racing as well on 41. 3 clear then of Jaguar. Mahindra way off the gap. Penske only on 7 with DS Powertrains. Neo on 4. Maserati 2. Neo 333 only on 1. Apt still pointless this season. And we are moments away then from the start procedure, around about half an hour to go until the red lights go out for the first time here in Hyderabad for the first FIA World Championship event here since the 2013 Indian Grand Prix at the Burch International Circuit in New Delhi as well. And joining me in the commentary box right now is Nick Homewood. Nick, you've actually raced on that circuit more recently than any other, because of the ERC as well, and that touring car race is either best left but forgotten or an example of things to improve on.
Yeah, I think that one can be forgotten, but it was a very good track. I liked it. It's a shame that it had to be gotten rid of. It was corruption and things, wasn't it?
Yeah, tax purposes as well.
Yeah.
That you have to pay a certain amount to race there. Although MotoGP seems to have found a way around it because they're going back there later on in the year, but in Hyderabad for Formula E, what do you make of the circuit as well? We've had 2 practice sessions, a very disrupted weekend as well with crashes, delays, qualifying systems not working out. But it is a fast circuit, I found out. What do you make of it?
It's fast and tricky. You got that chicane where no one seems to be able to stay on the track, and even with Wehrlein having that massive accident, you know, he's definitely in form at the minute. So it shows what a tricky circuit it is if with crashes like that happening. And yeah, it's dusty. It's going to be quite hot, I assume. So it's going to be a unique challenge.
Yeah, track temperature is at 41 degrees, air temperature at 38 as well. The hottest EPrix on record was 39 degrees. That was back in Santiago in season 5. So we're getting close to what could be the hottest EPrix on record if it goes above 39.1. So we'll keep an eye on that throughout the race. 18% humidity as well. Probability of rain is at 35% as well. But you mentioned Pascal Wehrlein's crash in practice 1. He actually did go into qualifying. The car managed to get repaired, but he does carry a 3-place grid penalty. Qualified 9th, will start in 12th position on row number 6 alongside Jake Dennis as well. We're watching him now. I mean, the 2 title protagonists once again on the grid. The Andretti seem to be a little bit off the pace this weekend with the Porsche powertrain, as does the factory's Porsches, but they've been 1-2 in every race so far. Are we going to expect them to blitz through the field, or is this now a turn for somebody else to win this weekend?
Well, we've seen them come from that far back before. There's no reason to think it can't happen again with how efficient that Porsche powertrain is. But you never know. Mitch Evans and Jean-Luc Vergne at the front. They're never going to be easy to get past, especially if Mitch Evans does a Mitch Evans and makes a bit of a break for it at the start. He could have a big gap by the time Wehrlein and Dennis can actually get to the front, if they do.
Absolutely, and let's just take a look at the grid then as well, with Mitch Evans starting on pole position. Jean-Luc Vergne is second on the grid. Evans, though, taking his 4th ever career pole position. A fantastic achievement for him as well. But many people expected Jean-Luc Vergne to take pole position. Evans in the Jaguar, after their poor start to the season, Nick, it is a surprise that they've rebounded so quick.
It is, but we had that in Diriyah, where they qualified fairly well and then sort of slipped back in the race a bit, didn't they?
Yeah,
I know Evans got caught behind Hughes right at the finish line. That gave him a bit of a push. But, Bird did quite well on energy at Diriyah, but Evans seemed to struggle. So we'll see how it goes in the race, because race performance and qualifying performance this season there's been a massive disparity.
And just going through the grid as Ed Hunter joins us now. Hello, Ed. Nice to have you back after Diriyah missing you. What are you expecting coming into this weekend as well? As I was just saying with Nick, it's a fast, abrasive circuit, but we've seen a lot of problems, both with the track conditions and with the track limits as well. What do you make of it all?
Oh, I thought I was going to miss this one as well. I was just in a hurry to eat breakfast and wake up on time. Although I know your solution, Josh, is just not to sleep, apparently. So
yeah, it works.
Just never ever sleep. Just constantly drink coffee. Yes.
Coffee. Always.
No wonder you never miss anything, and you never relax either.
No, that's true. That's true.
But anyway, how's it going? I've decided to do the very boring thing that I always do, which is wake up on the morning of the race, see how qualifying turned out, and then vote for the pole sitter to win. But I think there was that weird scenario. I'm not sure if you've mentioned it in the broadcast yet. What happened with the duel with Vergne having to do it on his own, and a couple of drivers having their lap times deleted because of turn 1. And they've been saying that they sort of knew this was an issue going in, and they didn't put the curbing down that they asked for because they were in such a rush to finish the track. And we saw FP1 on Friday yesterday that basically. There was another issue where the police decided to open up the track right before FP1 was going to start to let commuters through, which was a very bizarre turn of events, and it really shows some poor communication between local government and the police, in my opinion. But so there's a sort of background theme that the event is a bit of a shambles. It's a bit weird because I made a joke on the Nemo McLaren Twitter account. I basically
said, didn't you? I remember seeing,
yeah, of all the Finding Nemo characters saying, "Oh, sorry guys for we forgot we couldn't breathe on land and we ended up blocking the track, so it's our fault." And then there was another delay, and he's like, "Oh, really sorry guys. One of the bags has burst that the fish was in, and now there's water and fish everywhere."
Swim.
It's only slightly less ridiculous than what actually happened.
To be fair, it is. You're absolutely right. And Nick, you mentioned as well about the tuk-tuk on the circuit as well. It's just a bit of a misery how much this is getting into being a laughing situation, that we can't seem to get an event going without multiple problems. And it always happens in new cities as well. We saw it in Miami as well, where they never got their 2 practice sessions going. Are you anticipating a clean race today? Although many people on the grid right now are just getting ready for the meetings. Are we going to see something clean, or are we going to have a very much another action-packed incidents galore race like we had in Diriyah?
Well, this is the first new track we've got this season in Gen 3 cars. So it's a track that they've learned in these cars, and probably one that's been designed more towards these cars. I would say Diriyah wasn't particularly suited to these new faster cars at all.
Yeah.
But this track is going to be more suited to these cars. So you'd expect it to be a bit cleaner than Diriyah. But this is Formula E, and anything can happen, and usually does. But hopefully we don't see any tuk-tuks.
I was hoping you would say something always happens as well. We've heard then Ed's prediction for the race winner as well. I don't know. Have we actually? Ed, have you said who your race prediction winner is?
I said Mitch, didn't I?
Yeah, you
Mitch
did. I
Evans,
thought so.
said
Yeah. What's yours, Nick? Have you got one?
Ooh, Jake Dennis.
Oh, good pick.
Oh,
Good
interesting.
pick.
Yeah,
That's a
because
brave pick.
Pascal Wehrlein got the free place group penalty for impeding Sete Kamara in the group stage, didn't they?
He
So
did,
instead of
yeah.
starting 9th, he starts, I think, 12th, just behind Jake Dennis. Or
does-
was it?
yeah.
No, it's 13th, 14th, isn't it? And DaCosta's 15th as well. Who was my original
Yeah.
pick before qualifying happened. So, and there's
Oh.
on screen. We're just looking at the FIA president, who's apparently taking a big step back. So I guess that means I'm going to Formula E in India.
He's going to tweet about Formula E now.
Yeah, Alexandria
Oh
Guy.
no, he's gonna do what he's gonna start doing tweets as the about the Nemo McLaren account. I bet he was the one who made them change the right name because the article, the FIA Girls and Track article, where they called them Nemo McLaren, has been changed now to Neon McLaren, which I'm really torn up about. I just made a tweet like, "This is the worst thing that's happened to me since my mum and all of my siblings were killed by barracuda before I was born."
The things we get up to at 9 a.m. in the morning, honestly. I did love that. Who doesn't love it?
Oh, by the way, here we go.
We have a mascot, the Nemo. Is that actual
Yeah.
Nemo or just a normal clownfish? What was the
It's
dad's
just a
name?
normal clownfish, and it's magnetic, so it's stuck to my lamp.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, we haven't heard of
Legally,
it.
it can't be Nemo, can it?
That's true, yeah. I suppose.
They're distinct, yes, but
What
the
can we
audience
call it?
doesn't know that.
Yes. Dreamo, something like that. Anyway,
Dreamo.
Dreamo, yeah.
In your Dreamo, Josh.
Looking ahead then, the one problem I've got is I was on about this in qualifying as well, looking at the timetable as well. It all shows it normal time, but India's 5.5 hours ahead of the UK. So I've got the normal timing over there in India, and then I've got the British time alongside it as well. It's really hard to tell which is which. We're coming up though as well at 14:42. Right now what you're seeing on the grid is the visit by the VIPs as well. All the dignitaries who think they're important will get out there as well and go around the
Seems
circuit.
to be a lot of them in India.
It does, yeah. This was Wehrlein's accident then, guys, as well. I was commentating on it. We put it on YouTube as well. The throttle stuck open for Wehrlein as well. At turn 18, one of the slowest corners on the track, he went full throttle. Nasty whack into the wall. They say it's an electronic issue linking back to why the lights aren't working. But do you remember you mentioned it, Nick and Ed, back in Mexico? The lights not working, the synchronization problem. There seems to be an electronic fault with these cars, with both accelerators and brakes. Ed, coming to you first, is this a root of a problem that is going to be affecting all the generational cars? Because it's happened on 5 different manufacturers now.
Well, it's hard to say because the issue that we were having before was the brakes. I think
Yeah.
it wasn't necessary, and they've got the emergency brake-in syntheria. So I think this throttle issue is a new one. It seems to be Porsche specific. They seem to figure out enough what the issue was so they could fix it before. Presumably fix it before qualifying in FP2. So it shouldn't be an issue during the race, but it is worrying because Porsche's reliability seemed bulletproof up to now. And I think also Jaguar might be a bit worried about their reliability. Mahindra too, because we've seen the apt cars struggling with the heat, like Kelvin van der Linde keeps stopping and having these issues. We saw in qualifying he had a very big one actually. But so yeah, I think there are a lot of teams with the heat because there's also no air conditioning because they didn't have time to apparently put that into the buildings in Hyderabad at the circuit. So basically, that was one of the things they had to cut for time. No air conditioning, so there seemed a lot of people fanning themselves, and lots of very very big insects as well in the garages.
Yes,
I remember I saw FP2 Roger Gibbs in a sort of fight and Andretti with this giant bumblebee kind of thing. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's native to India, but.
You saw the same thing I did, Ed, as well. I was saying, whatever, you'll just be very careful with that as well. But, yeah, Nick, as well, cars keep going over, a lot of dust offline as well. But the EPrix system, which was brought in as a safety measure, isn't really seeming to work for Kelvin van der Linde, as Ed said. 2 failures now he's had, one in shakedown, one in qualifying. And when it happens, the e-brake's not working. So you're literally just skidding along the track into the wall. Is that going to be something that gets brought up by the drivers saying, hey, look, is this going to be blown up into a bigger proportion to drivers saying these cars are now unsafe, fix them or we're not going to race? Is this something that's slowly building up the more and more we get into the season?
Well, I think the introduction of these cars has been a bit of a shambles. We had, you can't stop them, and now you can't stop them accelerating.
Yeah.
It's not a good combination, is it? But with such a massive step in technology, I think just to launch into the season with it was probably a bit of a step. And all these issues we've been having, especially fundamental things like the brakes don't work. You can't have a world-class racing series where you press the brakes and nothing happens. Someone could die.
Yeah,
I think
they could. Yeah.
they would have been better off. I know that these rules were already delayed. Were they already delayed by a year?
Yeah.
They were because
Yeah.
the pandemic, Nick.
Yeah, but
Because there was originally to be Gen 2 Evo, wasn't there?
but the pandemic wasn't really over, and these cars they could probably have done with another year just testing everything worked. The Gen 2 cars, everyone seemed to like them. And then once we finally got into the season with the new cars, they could have fully implemented the fast charging that they want to implement. They could have made sure all the brakes worked, the throttles worked, everything worked. Because at the minute, you look at Formula E, you see, all the cars have just got this sort of random display of blue lights all over them. The attack mode lights don't work. It's a bit confusing if you don't really know what's going on. And then you'd have had a proper launch of the cars where everything worked. And we'd have had some decent racing without worrying, oh dear, you could pile into turn one at 150 miles an hour, press the brakes, and nothing happens.
Yeah, he's got a great point there, Ed, as well, because if I remember correctly, the Gen 2 car had an entire season of testing where in between qualifying and the race, racing drivers used to go in it as well, like Nico Rosberg did it as well. I think Coulthard had a go.
Well, those were demo runs.
Yeah.
A lot of the testing happened behind closed doors.
But we didn't see that much testing with the Gen 3 car, did we? Because
no, you wouldn't, again, because it would have been behind. There was like Benoit Trellier was, I think, one of the first to test it last year. I think it did come together. There was a lot of supply chain issues that definitely haven't helped in terms of getting this car together. And also, we know obviously Hankook designed these tires for the first time. Means they built a very hard compound, which the drivers are really, really struggling with all season. But yeah, there certainly seems to be all sorts of systems issues, and in a way, it's exciting because it means reliability goes up in the air. So we don't know exactly. It's like the early years of, say, Gen 1 particularly had a lot of this issue where we didn't know if a car was just going to melt, the batteries was going to melt in the heat and shut down to sort of make sure it didn't blow up, essentially. And that's really great, but you sort of sense maybe there's other issues because of that as well, that the car not being bulletproof means essentially throttle issues and brake issues.
Yeah, I remember.
And brake-by-wire issues, particularly.
I remember multiple issues at Punta del Este as well with the heat, and Puigdemont actually as well. But it was season 2 Puigdemont that was actually okay. Go on, Nick.
We could have had another season with the Gen 2s, but with the Hankook tyres. Everyone gets a chance to get used to the tyres.
But they weren't really designed for the Gen 2 car, though, Nick.
Well, a derivative of them. They're the same size and shape, or a harder compound, and then you launch into season or Gen 3, and everyone knows what they're doing. It's just a bit. It doesn't look great from an outsider's perspective. If you look through social media, people who are just picking up Formula E now, they're a bit like, "What's going on? This is a joke," and that's not what you want for.
That's interesting because I've been hearing very different things. I've been hearing other people who've been enjoying it. Although I missed the last 2 races, so I wouldn't know. But
it was quite good though, It was quite good. It was more entertaining than Mexico. But actually, that's a great point. I'll throw a question to you both. Do you think Formula E could have survived another season with the Gen 2 rules? Because we were getting... Oh, yes, we were getting unpredictable races last year, but it was also becoming a little bit same old in terms of the fact that it was the end of the generation, nobody else could develop, everybody knew the limitation of the car. It was beginning to get a little bit more scripted, and especially towards the tail end of last season, especially, the racing did die down ever so slightly. So I don't know who wants to take that first, but could we have survived another year with Gen 2?
In my opinion, I feel like it wouldn't have been viable, in my opinion, Josh, because so many people were waiting for Gen 3 for a long time, and there was so much sort of hype behind it. They sort of had to deliver at some point. I feel like another season of Gen 2, people would be like, say, well, this is old technology now. There's an element of the championship having to push forward a sort of new technology and sort of to promote and to keep it relevant to the manufacturers as well. In terms of, I know there are some that weren't entirely happy with the direction of Gen 3, and about 3 of them have left, and a couple have come in as well. That's important to point out in the form of Maserati, McLaren, of course, Abt coming back. I don't think Abt really wanted to leave. It was just because Audi left, essentially. But yeah, I definitely see the argument from a racing standpoint, but I think from the technology and image standpoint, they sort of had to deliver with Gen 3. They had all these tenders that had been put out years ago as well. I feel like telling them, right, we're going to delay another year. I feel like people would have started saying, well, we've invested all this money into Gen 3, so where is it then at some point? So I think from a practical standpoint, it kind of had to happen this year. I can understand a bit where Nick is coming from, but I feel like the racing argument is sort of outweighed by the other side of things, which is the image and the kind of business and the practical side of it.
Nick, as a race director, your opinion on the matter?
I think it would have survived. I don't know in what state, but as we've kind of already said, COVID was the problem. If we'd have had the Gen 2 Evo cars, then it would have been a different story, because we'd have had a fairly major rule change, and things would have changed, and another season with those rules might not have been so bad. But yes, commercially it wouldn't have been great, but when it comes to safety and things like that, you shouldn't compromise. And these cars, especially at the start of the season, as the drivers already said during the testing, weren't safe to race. So maybe just a later start to this season, more testing with the Gen 3 cars. I know Ed said there were supply chain issues that delayed the cars being ready. It's just a lot of things that have come together and meant that these cars are not as good as they should have been for a world championship, such a highly regarded FIA championship. If you saw this in Formula 1, where we had a rule change and suddenly we got to Barcelona testing and the cars were all bursting into flames and none of the brakes were working, there'd be outcry.
Very true. Yeah.
So it's maybe not as simple as push it back for another season, but it's sort of, where do you draw the line of these cars? We can go racing in them, but they might not be safe.
Yeah.
The drivers obviously feel they're safe enough because they are racing them.
I feel like
how long?
Yeah, that's the
we
question.
don't know if issues like this keep popping up.
Yeah, how long is what's worrying me as well. Robin Friends.
Well, there was also a thing, I don't know if you remember this, Nick, but Porsche very nearly there were reports that they were having internal talks about not even doing preseason testing at Valencia because they were so worried about the fact that the emergency brake wasn't going to be introduced until Darius. There were a lot of behind-the-scenes tensions that really did have to be quelled by Formula E.
Yeah.
And you're going to say they've made the best, considering some of the issues that the cars had, they've made the best of what's at the time has been a quite challenging product, even if it has put on a good show in terms of the racing.
Yep.
Yeah, but is it a show or is it a motorsport as well? And is the FIA safety up there? Is it not as well? It's very much all over the place at the moment as well in terms of what they actually want. Kenny says Gen 2 Evo was a definite miss, but Gen 3 change is mixing things up. Also, McLaren having brake issues at Bahrain. Anyone? That's true as well. Yeah, in F1, the brake issues we had for McLaren in the couple of races as well, that they kept having their rear disc exploding. Williams actually having the same issue in Emilia-Romagna and preseason testing as well. But and we remember how much we ridiculed them as well, saying that how is that allowed to be safe? How is it passing scrutineering as well? So is it a question that maybe the rules need to be changed a little bit to make sure the cars are all 100% safe or the best they can be? Failures do happen. Accidents always happen in terms of reliability issues, but if it's a recurring problem, it's got to be dealt with. I'm remembering when Formula 2, at the start of their new generation of car, I think back in 2018, something like that, their clutches used to keep cutting out at the starts. So the solution was to have rolling starts until they fixed it 4 rounds later. But do we have to step in and sort of say, like, this is more important, this is a brake issue? It's all down with the regens of the car as well, because they've changed how it's done this year. So it's more technology and more new technology being brought in that's undeveloped. Is it? I have to agree with Nick. I think another round of testing would have probably made a bit more sense. And Ed, maybe testing in a country that's a little bit warmer in the winter, because yes, it's in Spain, but we also tested in December. Would we be better testing anywhere else?
That's the issue with climate change, though. It's just that the weather's going to change everywhere to all sorts of extremes, and it's sort of one of the things that Formula E isn't trying. It's not, directly on the front lines of trying to, but it's certainly trying to promote a more sustainable sort of lifestyle, certainly to try and counteract that. But anyway, I don't think it's going to change too much about the weather in Valencia, the rain in Spain, as it were.
Yes, yeah.
In the short term. Yeah, I was sort of thinking about Gen 2 Evo, and I remember a lot of comments at the time that basically said that it was kind of a waste of money, which is why they one of the main reasons why they didn't do it in the end. That it was sort of that it was sort of trying to make the wings. It was sort of to deal with an issue from the end of Gen 2, which was that everyone kept running into each other just constantly, and it looked a little bit silly. So they wanted to make things a front wing that actually fell off if you knocked into it, essentially. Anyway, in terms of that extra round of testing, and I don't know, it's one of those things where it's a logistical kind of nightmare, I guess. Formula E's always been a logistical nightmare, but especially when you've got a car that's not great. And there's an argument certainly that Formula E, motorsport in general is a sort of test bed. So sometimes when you've got all these cars, especially in a series like Formula One, but even to extent to respect chassis and just powertrain development like you have in Formula E, it's a laboratory, and sometimes in the laboratory things are going to go wrong. Hopefully not to disastrous degrees, but I think we do have to trust to an extent. I mean, you said, should we get involved? I don't think you, me, or Nick specifically. I think we're kind of a bit hands off, but probably for good reason, because we do a worse job. As I sort of said to Mark Preston, remember when you were like, "Oh, we should make a team and hire the drivers for you, Mark," and I think that's a good way to make the team go bankrupt. Especially if you look at British touring cars, we've used like 8 or 9 drivers this season alone.
Yeah, how's Nick? How are you allowing us to get away with that? By the way, isn't there a limit on drivers we can use?
No, do what you want.
Oh, great.
Yeah, well, the drivers keep quitting, so I haven't really, unless I want to just field nobody, then.
One of these days we'll just have to get in the car.
I mean, the grid's small enough as is, so in ERC British touring cars.
One of these days,
but anyway,
I will do
going
one of the
back
races.
to your actual question, Josh.
Yes.
I forget what my answer was, but I'm maybe being a bit devil's advocate, but I sort of think Nick has some very legitimate concerns, and it's not the only thing to worry about in Formula, especially when you've got like the police opening up the track minutes before FP1, but in India, which is maybe a separate issue, obviously to the car safety thing.
And racing in a war zone.
Well,
that's it.
My views on that are already very clear. But anyway, that's the Jeremy Corbyn answer for you. That whenever he's asked about Trident, which he always disagreed with, is, "Oh, your members all voted for renewing Trident," and he said, "My views on Trident are very clear," and I feel like that's my attitude to Saudi Arabia. Anyway, what was I saying? I've forgotten now. But anyway, I think we have to trust that Porsche have fixed the issue, because it didn't happen in qualifying or FP2.
That's true.
We've got to hope that none of the other teams find an issue of their own before we get started, or before we finish the race, essentially. So I think it's all a matter of how they're all going to cope with the heat, essentially. It reminds me of that old Lego Formula E thing I did, where I made loads of jokes about the heat being too much, and then nothing happened in the race.
Well, to be fair, a lot could happen in this race because of the track temperature. Are we going to see the Porsches move up the field? What's your initial take on that, Ed? Are we going to see a real good performance from them, or is it going to be a bit lackluster?
Well, I think them missing FP1 is going to have a bit of an impact, because it would have limited the amount of running they could do in FP2. Wehrlein was the only one whose pace looked pretty promising in FP2, and he's got the 3-place grid penalty, which means he starts behind Dennis in the same powertrain. So I think 13th, 14th, I think it's a very, very tall order, because it's a new track as well. It's not like Diriyah, where they sort of know exactly what to expect for the most part, or Mexico for that matter as well, even with the added chicane. I feel like they're going to gain places, but I don't see I don't see them catching up to Evans, or we'll have to see how Byrne and Co get on as well. They're just behind, but I expect Evans to control the race from the front. And the problem is starting further back as well. It's street circuit like this, where it's very dusty offline. If you're trying to overtake and you get it wrong, then you're in a lot of trouble.
Thanks, Ed. Thanks, Nick. Time to get into it then. Here we go. Our Formula E World Championship event right in India. FIA returns here in a World Championship capacity for the first time in 10 years. A 2.835 kilometre street circuit, the Hyderabad street circuit as well. Turns 1 and 2, a tight right-left chicane that's caught many drivers out and provided us one of the most strange qualifying sessions we've ever seen. Attack mode is down at the turn 3 hairpin as well, and then a complete run from turn 6 all the way down to turn 14, and then the last 2 corners on this track as well. Another right-left chicane, and then a right across the finish line for the control. We've got a topsy-turvy grid. Right at the back, Kelvin van der Linde after a brake failures alongside Jake Hughes have got disqualified for minimum pit stop time in qualifying. Andre Lotter is 20th alongside his Lucas de Grassi. 18th on the grid for Nico Muller. Stoffel van Dorn down in 17th position. Dan Ticktum is in 16th position. Sergio Sete Camero, his teammate, is alongside him in 15th. Then it's Norman Nato, 14th, with Antonio Felix da Costa in 13th position. The championship leaders, Pascal Wehrlein's on row 6 and 12th. Jake Dennis is in 11th. Row 5 sees Oliver Rowland in 10th. 9th for Nick Cassidy. 4th row of the grid, Rene Rast kicked out of qualifying down into 8th position, and Juan Mortar the same in 7th. Sam Bird also the same down at turn 2, he's 6th. Max Gunther promoted up to 5th. Sasa Fenestraz up to 4th, his best ever qualifying. Sebastian Buemi is 3rd, meaning the front row was Jean-Eric Verne. He had a semi-final all to himself. Alongside him though, couldn't be beaten, and then was beaten by Mitch Evans. You can't beat yourself, I think is the question. Alongside me, in the commentary box is the Guinness World Record holder as the first ever driver to flip a Formula 1 car on the F1 2011 game. It's Edward Hunter. Alongside me as well is the ERC racing driver and race director, Nick Homewood as well. Afternoon, guys. It's going to be a little bit of a trip to the formation lap, but we've got 32 scheduled laps ahead of us. We're in India. Conditions are hot. This could be a great race, Ed.
There's no footage recording me doing that flip, but Gary Paffett saw it, so it's certainly what I would be most remembered for when I'm buried in the ground many years from now, hopefully. At least 2034. I'm hoping to live that long.
Nick, good morning to you as well. This is going to be a very interesting race as well. You've already got your pick a winner sorted as well, but what do you reckon is going to happen into turn 1? A hairpin after one of the longest starts, and it's a narrow field on the track. It's not that big, so I'm expecting some drama. What are you thinking?
Oh, definitely. Someone's gonna not brake or not brake early enough. And
who's Nick gone for again? Sorry.
Dennis.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I remember now.
Go big or go home.
I'm stuck with de Grassi, I think. So yeah, I'm really
that's very bold that you did not. Like, you stayed up all night. You could have changed your prediction after quality.
I know. Technically, I don't know when I can actually stop it or not. Is it when the lights go out? I can change it, because I'll stick with de Grassi or one of them hinges on the part. I can't remember who I said, to be fair. I've only had 1 hour 51 minutes.
Well, Roland is in the. There he is, just going on the screen, just in front of Dennis. Actually, so that means he's 12th then.
Just give you some quick, as they come onto the start grid, about the attack mode. It is another 4 minutes total. You get 2 activations, either for 1 to 3 minutes, 2 to 2, or 3 minutes to 1. For the attack mode location, it's on the outside of the turn 3 hairpin. That is called Devil's Den, and it's a very dusty offline as well, so re-entry could cause crashes. As you can see with Bert, I think that was Evans, and then Bird and Amortawa doing it all up as well. Rast alongside. This is going to be a very tricky one. The track started off dusty with a load of leaves on it. We've now got a situation where it's rubbing in as much as it can be. Is this going to give us an entertaining race? So far this year, it's been Pascal Wehrlein and Jake Dennis, 1-2 alternating. They start 11th and 12th on the grid, but they were just as far back in Diriyah in both races. They won it in style. Reminds me a bit of London there at Battersea Park. The width of the start grid, barely enough between them. We have 32 laps. Go on, Ed.
I remember the boating lake in Battersea being a bit further away from the track. Long run into the Lumbini hairpin here, Josh.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. Who's going to make it into the hairpin first? Green light still on. There's no smoke. Let's get those green lights out and start.
Well, the dummy grid's a lot further away.
That's true, yeah. The red light procedure is on. We're back in India for the first time in Hyderabad. Lights out, race on. Great start from Mitch Evans. Vern has to come across as well. Further back, the Mahindras of Degrassi's making a way through. Look at the leaves on the run down towards turn number 1. Vern's on the outside. Evans leads the way. Rast and then looking through the inside. Vern's getting a little shove, but when he takes third away from Fenestrauss, who had it on the outside, they all make it through cleanly. But when that's Cassidy alongside Bird into 5 and 6. It's still very dusty. Trying to go around the outside. That's another Mahindra. I think that's Oliver Rowland, who's lost 2 places to Rast and Dennis on the start. Everyone smoothly through. Rowland back to 11th. Nato to 14th. Hughes has moved up from 21st to 19th. Vanderlin's moved ahead. Muller's had a shocker down in 22nd. But Evans leads, and it's still not even the first lap. Remember, because of the offset, they've got to complete a full extra lap before the race officially gets underway.
Oh, great start by Da Costa, by the way, Josh. Went from 15th to 10th into that first hairpin there. Although Rast just got in front of him.
And Evans...
15.
Oh, yeah, he's realised gone way back as well, and that is where they are. That's the Neo. So that's Sete Camera getting passed out. Degrassi trying to go around the outside. Lap 1 has now officially started.
Picton being swamped there by Degrassi and Wehrlein, essentially.
If you're worried about energy, they get 40 kilowatts of power, but they get an extra 1.5 kilowatts to complete the opening lap. Again, everyone cutting the course at turn 2. Do that 3 times, you get a warning. Do it 5, you get a penalty. All out of shape is Cassidy, trying to get up the inside of Sam Bird down in turn 3 and makes the move stick. And then the McLarens are coming in. That's Rast with Mortaro in just ahead as well. And it's all kicking off. This is actually an entertaining start.
That's brave from Nick Cassidy. I thought going on the dirty stuff is going to go straight into Sam Bird, but he just about managed to get it stopped in time and up to 6th.
Into the... what's that TV show in Japan called? The castle one? I can't remember.
Takeshi's Castle.
That's the one. That's what it looks like as well back there. Through the entertainment area. Through the 12-13 chicane. That's Sasha Fenestraz in 4th position. Fenestraz, his best ever qualifying position was 8th. His best finish is 8th. And he's just beaten that with 4th on the grid, even though he's qualified down in 9th, but penalties galore. Put him up into 4th position. But Buemi is on the back of Vern still. Evans just ahead, and quite an okay start there. On to lap 2. Evans leads the way. Fastest lap is Tictum, so 1:17.834. And I feel like, Nick, I was a bit harsh of Tictum, and I know you sort of backed me up on that as well. He's sort of coming into his own now, isn't he, Dan Tictum?
Yeah, in F2 he was very, very hot-headed. But I think he enjoys racing here. He seems to have, he's calmed down a lot, and he's just getting on with it, having fun, and racing well.
Hang on.
Mortaro missing his front wing, Josh.
Oh, is there going to be more damage in the hairpin? Oh, no, it's still underneath him. I thought someone else might have collected. Lotta has dropped behind.
That could be a safety car if he can't make it back.
Oh, well, it just gets worse for Maserati. Mortaro had his lap time deleted in qualifying. And now he's got no front wing, and he's dropping back. He's dropped massively back now, hasn't he? He's falling down the timing monitor. Well, this is just...
Yeah, it looks like he must have just hit the back of something into the hairpin, I think.
Yeah, can't see where. Timing screen's frozen on my screen, so it'll catch up in a second. Let's have a replay then. Down into turn 3 at the hairpin. So he's braking.
That's Sam Bird in front of him.
Oh, well, that's...
Oh, nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Did he get a push from behind?
I think...
Not sure.
I
think it was Rene Rast just behind him, wasn't it?
There's our timing screen back up. Yeah, so Rast, has he got damage? I can't see any. He's the 3rd car along in the picture we're looking at. There he is. It doesn't look like he's got damage.
Looks all right. I noticed Tictum was going about a bit of his front nose cone, so he's already having a bit breeze in the back of his soles of his feet, I guess.
Has Evans got the same thing? Let's hear from Gunther.
Yeah, looks okay. Gap ahead 0.7, gap behind 0.8.
Gunther's been told gap ahead 0.7, gap behind 0.8. There's another little touch there as well for the DS. That's Van Dorn trying to pass Dennis. Mortaro stayed out here as Tictum gets past, Hughes gets past. Why is it? Yeah.
Flag.
Yeah, why hasn't he come in? Oh, here we go. Oh, this is the start.
Do you remember we had this with Vern as well, where he lost the front wing in Mexico?
That's
and
true.
He just sort of stayed out towards the end. So here we go. So it was Vern tried to pull across to get a bit of slipstream from Evans, but it didn't seem like he really was able to make anything of it. And then Buemi on the inside sort of found Fenestraz going around the outside of him at the hairpin, Josh.
Lovely moves as well as the entire field tried to get through a width which is smaller than a shopping cart by the looks of it as well. On board with the Neo
This is what happened to
Tictum.
Tictum.
Is this where he
So
chops
that's
off?
Sede Kamara in front of him.
Oh, his own teammate. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, on
he's
the
back in
tail light as well.
Yeah,
And round the outside goes Degrassi.
he was drifting that one as well as he comes back through. Van der Linde has taken 1 minute of attack mode. So Kelvin van der Linde has taken the opposite end. Here's Evans.
Year-old French-Argentine.
Sam underconsumed by 0.1 on the last lap. Let's try to target that.
So
as much as we can.
Sam Burn underconsumed by 0.1%. Now they want Evans to do the same thing. No one's taken the attack mode just yet. There's a few going offline. Mortara's still wingless, and it's gone underneath the car now.
Yeah,
Nick.
he's got to come in with that. That's dangerous.
And that's Muller
And
taking
now Muller goes into attack mode as well. But yeah, Lotter's race is being destroyed here by Mortara.
Muller missed it.
Not that it... Yeah. Oh no.
He hasn't activated it, so he lost a position to Van der Linde for nothing. I can hear cheers in the background. That's new.
It's the fans.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of them here, and they seem to be enjoying what they're seeing. Maybe Roland holding on to that point is a big deal for them, or maybe just Evans leading in the other
That's true.
important car for them in terms of the Tatarin Jaguar.
Gunther's got the fastest lap. Correction, Rast's got the fastest lap, 1:16.290, so that keeps changing around. And Mortara, we've got a yellow flag at turn 15. So who's gone off at turn 15 to cause that yellow? Surely it's Mortara. Oh, Van der Linde's.
Mortara's gone in the pits.
Oh, yeah, but Mortara's in the pits. Yellow flag's out. Van der Linde's dropped behind Muller. Has Van der Linde had another issue? I can't see him on... Where is he on the driver track? I know he's still following. So I think the yellow flag is for debris. It is for debris. So Mortara's wings finally come off. Well, that's good news then, Nick. But would he come back out on the track, or is he going to retire?
Well, he shouldn't have been allowed. He should have been forced to come straight in with that. That's a bit ridiculous. But he should be able to carry on.
It's still there. The wing's still there. Massive FIA logo. It looks like a boat, which is right in the centre of the track.
There's no yellow flag.
And slippery surface is out. Now the yellow flag comes out at turn 14. What's going on?
Higher targets. Let's stay as we are, plan A.
Well, Scott Elkin wanted to throw the safety car for a car that managed to get back into the pit lane last time out. Now we've got an FIA machete on the track, and no one's throwing the virtual safety car. This is ridiculous. They're going right near it. The
It's the
drivers.
wrong flag.
Yeah, that's the meatball flag. It's not a yellow flag, so they're not being told to slow
That's the
down.
slippery surface flag that's being shown in the background, yeah.
Yeah, and this is ridiculous. So, yeah, thanks, Ed. I made the mistake there. Yeah, it's the slippery surface, so the white and red flag being shown together. But the yellow's out on the track, but there's no actual yellows for the drivers, so that's ridiculous. And everyone's cutting the corner now at turn 2. And where's the full course yellow? That's what's needed, not a safety car. We need a full course yellow to bring
bad
them
news
under
for
control.
Van Dorn if there is one. Hughes as well, because they've both just gone into attack mode.
That's true. Hughes has taken
And
the
there's
minute.
still no...
Oh, they're coming to it again, by the way. And Dennis takes attack mode. He's taken 2 minutes, so he's on option 2 of the strategy. And now look at this as well, because where is this little Basel segregation?
This is Dennis. He's just overtaken NATO not too long ago.
There was more debris on the side of the track there. Another bit of front wing.
Oh, where's the... Well,
Might be the other side of Mortara's front wing, yeah.
So one half is at turn 14, one half is at turn 6. No,
Well, this all happened because he wasn't meatball flagged in, essentially.
Yeah. Well, the FIA have sort of dropped the ball here. Right, here we go. Here's Mortara. So he goes over the bump at turn 12, and it's just going to drop away from him. Yeah, there he goes.
Hits Lotterer on the way
Oh,
back.
Oh, it's got a mobile projectile there.
Oh.
That could have been very dangerous. Hits the wheels as well.
Oh,
and
and
then
then-
in the path of the... so something must have happened just after that to Van der Linde then.
what is taking Scott Elkin so long? And Buemi leads. Buemi's taken the lead. What's happened here? Buemi's on the
No, he
inside.
hasn't.
Yes,
Oh,
he
he's just taken a... Oh, there we go. That'd be why.
Yeah, that's why. Buemi's on the inside. He passes Vern. Evans takes attack mode. Fenestraz on the inside line too. Timing screen's ahead. Evans takes the lead. So Buemi takes the lead away from Evans. Now Fenestraz is looking at the inside of Vern. And Evans on 2 minutes of attack mode. And it's gone green.
We've got a
I wonder if
psychic
that was-
turning screen.
I wonder if that was the best move. Well, that's because timing screen's more live than the coverage on Channel 4, essentially. But that seems like an interesting move by Evans, because he's lost now 3 positions, which is not what he would have wanted. Attack mode can be really costly here if you don't have the gap behind you.
So when does Buemi take it? Now, a very brave Marshall has run onto the track and I believe has cleared that debris. There's Evans. That's Fenestraz now coming up alongside him. He clips the back of Vern, luckily not to take anything out. There's someone else taking the attack further back. Presumably that was Roland.
That was Roland, yeah.
Evans is past Fenestraz.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Well,
Just while we went to replay, we missed a move by Evans.
We need P
So,
and P. That's what we need.
Now he's surely going to close in on Vern and Buemi now, easily down the straights.
Dennis has taken the fastest lap, 1:15.585
Oh,
as well.
look how much they're cutting.
This is amazing. And look at the speed that Vern has on Buemi down the straight. The DS powertrain, we were promised it had something to give. We saw it in testing. We haven't seen it yet this season. Now Vern's on the title fight. He said after qualifying as well. After 3 miserable races, he wants to start now in race 4. At the inside, Dennis passing to Costa. Roland on the inside on attack mode 2, forcing his way through. There was a little bit of contact, and I think he has done it. Now Dennis trying to come back on the inside line. The camera cuts away because
That's
of course
NATO.
it does.
That's
Oh.
NATO trying to attack the Costa as well, I think.
And Roland's passed to Costa, and NATO's passed him to
Costa's
Costa's
not a
down.
problem.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
No, he just got shuffled out by several cars there.
We need to see the TV pictures. We don't care about what's happening at the front. We need to see what's happening when the action is, Mr. Director.
They've hired some F1 broadcast directors. We'll have a crowd shot in a minute.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe it's the Indian directors. So for some reason they cut away from Mahindra, the Indian car, making a move.
They won't protest because
Radio.
Rear axle when you can.
they won't protest because we haven't got Dilbag Gill as the team principal anymore. Which I know
Come on,
Pickering might
Bertrand does a
like.
good job.
Yes.
Well, he's working at the track now, and he's working on a feeder series as well. So
He
it's not
is,
like
yeah.
he's been banished from the FE paddock, although, judging by what I heard out of the Mahindra garage from some of the women that used to work there, that maybe he should have. But anyway, that's another matter.
Buemi's going to take the attack mode. Vern dives up the inside. Vern takes the lead. And Cassidy follows suit. Buemi
Oh,
gets out ahead.
Oh, great strategy there from Envision then, because they didn't lose too much time there. I think Buemi's looking good to win this race now.
Vern takes it then and goes through. Forgot how to spell Vern's name there on the lap chart I keep up in the commentary box. So Buemi's taken 2 minutes. Right, who's got 1 left? So Van Dorn took 3 minutes on his attack mode. He's got 1 left. Muller and Van der Linde took 1 minute. Everybody else has taken 2 minutes.
Yeah, and Buemi and Evans on the same attack mode strategy as well, so it's not like Evans is going to get more to use later on. He's been basically snookered by Buemi here.
And this is going to be very entertaining. Of course, Vern has yet to take it. Let's hear from Evans.
Meanwhile, is down in 15th spot.
We need to stay there. We are starting to recover. We need to recover. Let's stay where we are. Keep doing what you're doing.
Like you said, Ed, we need to recover. Just stay where you are. Do what you can do.
I think I voted for the wrong driver to win the race now.
I wonder if Evans has been over-consuming.
Yeah, we heard he was 0.1 down on Bird. So how many has he had to over-consume to keep the lead of the race? Because Vern looked
What?
mighty.
And when you're at the front,
Oh.
you're all...
Vern takes attack mode, and Buemi takes the lead. Does he get out ahead of Evans? Yes, he does. Vern only takes a minute, though, so he's got 3 left to play later.
It goes from bad to worse for Evans, doesn't it?
This is just getting ridiculous, trying to count up who's taking where. Go on, what were you saying? Sorry, Nick.
When you're up at the front, you're punching the hole for everyone else, so you're always going to use more. You can't just tuck in and use everyone else's energy almost.
Yeah. Slipstream,
But
not that great.
Vern hasn't got any lights on his car, and I think they should just turn all the lights off because it's very confusing.
That's true. He doesn't. He's gone dark. Bravo
They don't
10.
indicate anything at the minute, so just don't have them at all.
Hey, sometimes the light works, Nick, and sometimes it doesn't. It's sort of a...
What's that?
It's sort of a 50-50. It's a roll of the dice.
What's that expression from that footballer? Sometimes maybe bleep, sometimes maybe good.
Hey, look, it's run out now, so it doesn't matter.
Oh yes. So Tictum's taken another minute, by the way, but it doesn't matter because look at this. Vern has got such a great run down the start straight towards turn 3. Can he go on the inside line? No, he doesn't.
Fancy it. Buemi covers him off.
Nice job. We need to hit our targets now and we need green code after this call.
Fenestraz takes it, as does Gunther. Gets out ahead of Bird, but crucially, Bird splits Fenestraz and Gunther. So they pretty much keep position then.
Oh, pretty much, yeah. But that was pretty close between Cassidy and Gunther there.
Look, he's coming up to the back of this battle, though.
Oh, yeah.
Jake Dennis.
Just behind Rast, yeah. It is Dennis. He's been able to keep Roland and NATO at bay.
Oh, Vanderlin's in the pit lane. So that must be
driver
a
going
retirement.
into the pits rather than just carrying on with Vinicius.
Oh, wow, that's new. So,
Unprecedented.
yeah. Vanderlin then, I think, is out, and that could be the end of his Formula E career because the team are making a decision on who to put in for the next round in South Africa in 2 weeks' time. But Buemi, fastest
the
lap.
home race as well, just missing because Franz's hand is healed enough. But that was a really big injury in Mexico. There was bones sticking out of the hand as well, apparently. So he's done really well to recover. And look at this, Jev all over the back of Sebastian Buemi.
Jev wants his first win of the season as well. A new win with a new team. He's got such a slipstream run as well. But look how much, actually, Vern's regenerating energy there, isn't he, down the straight? Because Buemi was just pushing like crazy.
Well, Buemi was told by his engineer, she basically told him to start saving energy, so that we need to hit our targets, I think was the phrase.
Yeah,
so it doesn't look like the Jaguars quick out one lap, but maybe at this particular circuit their efficiency is not quite as good as maybe the DS. And DS seem to have got things together, at least for Vern anyway.
Lap 12 of 32 of the Hyderabad EPrix. Fenestraz is 20 seconds away from running out of attack mode as well. Although, let's have a replay of Cassidy. And this is, well, Cassidy's going to be the second green car, isn't he? He's on the inside there. And that is him getting ahead of Rene Rast in a lovely sweet move.
Wasn't he already ahead of Rene Rast? That's him holding Rast. Oh, he's getting back ahead.
He's back ahead. So Rast has passed him, and then he's gone back through at turn 3.
Oh, I missed so much action, it feels like.
The TV director here, we honestly, this is why we need multiple
Well, it's nice of them
cameras.
to show a replay, because it's a rarity in this series.
That's true. The only good thing, by the way, is that I've just found out that the TV pictures are separated by 5 seconds to the live timing, which is usually 15 on Eurosport, so we've actually gained an extra 10
look at this.
seconds.
Fenestraz now starting to close back on Evans.
Could we see Sasha Fenestraz take a win? He's looking mighty.
He's certainly doing the best of all the
Oh,
Nissan
that's
paths. No, we're not. No, it's Bird.
Oh,
no!
Burnt
Oh, my
hit!
goodness.
Burnt hit Evans, and now we've got a traffic jam with Gunther and Fenestraz involved too.
That's a safety car for sure.
Oh, and now we've got crunch
dear.
time. What happened there? Bird coming in all too hot. He's broken the front wing. Bird is out. Safety car will have to come out for that for sure. What on earth was happening? Bird into turn 3. Oh, he might just save this, you know, guys.
That'll be debris, though.
Yeah, gotta be. And Gunther's black and white flag for track limits.
You lose all grip.
So sorry, he's just said. Evans' pole is shattered away by his own teammate. After Bird had a remarkable recovery in Dirio and here this weekend, he's thrown it away back to what it was like in Mexico.
And Fenestraz's race has come undone because of that as well. That was very, very costly. But it certainly helps Buemi and Vern, and for some reason there's still not a safety car.
Where is
despite all that debris.
He had a dodgy curry or something.
Well, they were eating. Oh, hang on a minute. Buemi cut the track there at turn 2 from the overhead angle, as did Cassidy. So both envisions
But
taking
that's been
liberties.
the case the whole race. So.
Yeah. Well, Roland black and white flag track limits. So they are doing it.
This is good. You can just tell we're not even halfway through the race yet, and they're getting black and white flags.
Two leaders now got attack mode because they had a big
Oh,
gap.
more debris.
They had a big gap behind
It's
them.
not the right flag.
And
No, it's not. It's the slippery. It's the meeple. It's the slippery surface flag, the red and yellow. Right, Ed, talk us through it.
Okay, so Bird sees the opportunity because Fenestraz goes wide, but then there's no space to go because Evans is still negotiating the hairpin. Gunther comes onto the scene really late and almost like because he was the next car in line, wasn't he? So he's going for attack mode. That's why, and he couldn't because the Jaguar Bird was in the way, and then he finds himself just in a car park. So Gunther super unlucky. And Bird, he sort of fessed up to it there. So he's on board with Evans. I mean, that sickening crunch at the rear as he's just hit and tagged around helplessly and watches the entire field go by. I think, Nick, your vote for Jake Dennis to win has now just been made a lot more likely because of this.
Oh, well done. Let's hear from Bird.
Bird, here's his radio.
Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Sorry doesn't make it any better, Sam.
No,
I'm so sorry.
they finally started bleeping it as well. But and now that's Vern. Vern has taken the attack mode for 2 minutes and takes the lead. Buemi must have a problem because here comes Cassidy on the inside, and Buemi's slowing down massively as Rust comes in, and the hasn't taken attack mode.
Why are they still racing with all this debris on the track?
Well, what
It
happened?
does seem a bit reckless. I wonder if Buemi was slowing down for the debris there, and Vern caught him out.
Well,
And
can I just point out, why has Vern got 1 minute 18 seconds of attack mode left, and Buemi's on 1 minute 33, but we just saw Buemi take the attack mode after he was passed by Vern. Vern didn't go through the attack mode. So why has why has Vern got the attack
Vern
mode?
already had it. He had 3 minutes left, didn't he?
Oh, okay.
yeah, he did. Yes.
Well, that's Nick saving my bacon there. Thank you very much, Nick. So I was just wondering, because I was like, have we missed something? But now Cassidy's on the back of Vern. That didn't work out the way it was.
Well, Vern now he's taking the lead. Doesn't have to waste any more energy. He can sort of control things from here, I guess.
And Cassidy's got a broken nose.
We need a safety car to clear up all this debris.
Yes, we do.
Because when
Dennis up to third, by the way, in all of this.
I like that. When Vern was overtaking Buemi, there was debris right where he was driving.
And Dennis is going to take second position on the inside. That's Roland on Rust. And this is all just chaotic.
Yeah, Cassidy's ahead of Buemi now.
I think they've
So
taken...
Buemi didn't have a good...
I know we're in India, but do we have to drive like we're on the motorway here? This is unbelievable. This is Indian driving. Fantastic. And there was a move further on back.
That was Da Costa on NATO.
Yeah, and they were both on attack mode. Evans is now, so Vern's out of attack mode. Here's Cassidy as Vern does something on the lead. One attack left for Cassidy, and that was Vern taking the lead of the race. Dennis is up to second place. He started this race 11th.
Yeah, look at this.
Oh, look at that.
This
Right on the
debris.
line. And he hits it. Vern hits it. Well, that reminds me a lot.
Lucky he didn't get a puncher, yeah.
Oh, and Van Dorn's passed Sete Camera, and something's happened to Norman Nato. He's just dropped 6 places. Unless he's taken attack mode. No, he hasn't.
Nice of them to show it.
I don't think he has taken attack mode. NATO just dropped down massively. Now he's back up the order into 8th. Sete Camera, something is happening in the midfield that we need to see, and we are not seeing it.
I think the transponder on NATO's car had an issue there.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to have affected him too badly.
So Vern retakes the lead again.
Oh, here comes Cassidy on Dennis on the outside, and nothing that Dennis could do there. The attack mode too powerful,
And
the Cassidy sweeps through to the inside, and gets a little nudge in the back from the Andretti of Dennis.
And Roland and Da Costa battling together as well. There we are, just ahead of it. Taking attack mode was Degrassi and Wehrlein. So going through, that was also Hughes taking it.
Victims in the pits.
Oh, well, what's happened to him? Why is he in the pit lane now? What's happened there?
Maybe he's lost the rest of his front wing.
I think Nato's got a problem in the second sector transponder because Van Dorn's just passed him. Whether that's an organic move, I don't know. And Bird is now 20th still. Gunther is under investigation for track limits after receiving a second black and white flag. So Gunther could get a big penalty here, which it could be a drive-through.
But he had to go off track there when there was the Bird Evans Fenestraz incident.
And Norman Nato has got a bigger problem. He's into the pit lane.
Here's Dennis's radio.
So Cassidy out of attack in 5 seconds, gap to Buemi, 1 second.
Dennis is
So
on
Dennis-
the attack. Yeah, go on.
P3, 2 minutes of attack mode left.
Oh, this is just insane.
We need to see the energy remaining.
We do, because we're, 18 to 32, and we haven't seen the energy yet. NATO's in the pits, so that's NATO, Tictum, and Evan. Well, Evans, we know why.
Rollers past Da Costa. We
Yep.
didn't see it.
That was Dennis nearly running to the back of Cassidy. Rast takes attack mode. Buemi sweeps past, so it's Envision 2-3. Dennis is right in the back of Buemi. There's debris literally everywhere. We are literally just driving on an Indian street right now, and you can't tell whether it's civilians driving or racing drivers driving. It is just as chaotic.
Absolutely insane, Josh. It's typical Formula E madness and typical Indian madness meshing together in a beautiful melody of chaos.
Well, this is insane. This is fantastic. So Dennis is now going to attack Buemi with all his might, and the gap between
And Envisions can just work together to hold off Dennis here, if possible.
Yeah, 2-3, take it. Although that power, we've seen the Porsche powertrain is good in the race. It's not great in qualifying. Let's hear from him now.
And Rash to the top 5. Here's Dennis's radio.
10% more than Buemi. Sierra 1, clear him. Sierra 1.
Scenario 1, you've got 2% more, I heard, over Buemi, so go for it. See what you can do there. I don't
They
know.
haven't showed the energy on the TV.
And the teams don't have
Unless
access.
it's been shown on the timing screen somewhere, Josh.
I'm having a look. Can't see anything on my side of it either. No.
Oh, here comes Dennis to the outside.
Oh, and that's back in the inside. They've hit! They've hit! They made contact. They were rubbing with each other down the straight. And Dennis had a puff of blue smoke, but Buemi was trying to stop as well. They run
Was that
into
a
each
late
other.
move by Buemi?
Yeah, to
I
defend.
wonder.
So he's done a Verstappen manoeuvre. That's frowned upon in the FIA International Sporting Code.
Dennis
moving
did
under braking.
very well not to take him out there.
Yeah, that was a similar situation to what we saw with Vern and Lotterer back in Santiago Season 4.
It was, yeah. So I was getting those sort of flashbacks there, and of course, but it's not Lara, it's his teammate Dennis this occasion.
Somebody call
attacking
Mark.
Buemi.
Somebody call Mark. Quick, get him on the line.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's been on a race, isn't it? Maybe
Yeah.
he's not a fan of Saudi Arabia either. But now I'm putting words in his mouth that he's probably not said. And anyway, look, that looks like is that Cassidy in the lead there?
The timing
1.1.
tower's disappeared.
Right,
Oh,
Vern
No.
leads. Cassidy second, Buemi third. Dennis is involved. Well, he might just be because Cassidy's going to run on Vern down towards turn 3. There they are. There they are. Vern, Cassidy. Then it's Buemi. Then it's Dennis. Then it's Rast. I'm pointing at the screen like Murray Walk used to because it's just easy to catch
Is
up.
there a bit of Ras front
Wow!
wing hanging loose? And whoa!
That was-
That's Kamara going off track.
Sante Kamara doing a rallying style Kimi Räikkönen manoeuvre, flying off the track. He's on attack mode 2. All out of shape
Dennis
to
has
turn
lost
2.
his attack mode.
Yeah, and he's on 38%. So Vern on 37, Cassidy 39, 37 Buemi, 38 for Dennis, 38 Rast, 37 Roland, Da Costa, 38 Verland's 39.
More than Buemi still.
Verland's on 39%. He's still got 2%. Cassidy is 2% ahead of Vern. He's 3% ahead of Vern at the moment. Vern on 36, Cassidy now on 38. That's back up to 2. And Dennis is closing in again on Buemi. McLaren sensed something can happen here, but Rast has got damaged front wing. And Gunther's
He
been...
looks like Nemo from Finding Nemo, doesn't he, with the broken fin?
He does. Well, we just started that as well, but Gunther's been given a 5-second time penalty for track limits as the cars are so slow coming out of turn 18. And Degrassi's taken his 3 minutes of attack mode. Well, this race is exciting. No additional laps, 21 of 32. And this, I don't know who's going to win.
Well, I think it's turning into a 2-horse race quite rapidly because Dennis has not been able to get past Buemi. And in fact, Rast and Roland are looking a little bit threatening as well.
And Roland is under investigation for track limits now. Could he be getting a 5-second time penalty added to his board as well? It is all kicking off here
And
in
Wehrlein into
Hyderabad.
attack mode.
Oh yeah, so he's taken a minute as well.
He's got to make good use of that to get past Van Dorn, isn't he?
Dennis has been given a black and white flag. Jake Dennis for track limits, black and white flag, last warning.
It's like collecting trophies, isn't it?
It really is.
Good. 0.6%.
Energy good, 0.6. Vern's having to save a lot more energy than Cassidy. We're riding with Cassidy now in the Envision Virgin Racing. Has he ever...
He's got damage.
He has. Look at that. No wing plate on his front. So he's hit... Well, who hasn't hit somebody as well? It wouldn't... Everybody thinks that's something. Roland's been given a 5-second time penalty for track limits. And as well. And is that a second one for Gunther? I'm not sure. So, yeah, Roland has been given a 5-second time penalty for track limits. I'm trying desperately to have a look at Cassidy in the race notes we've got up here in the commentary box. Cassidy has won before, New York City last year.
He did, yeah, when it got cancelled because of the rain, essentially.
What?
Or,
Look at the timing tower. What's happening here with the fact is that... Yeah.
Degrassi in trouble. That's what I'm seeing here.
There are 94 every 10 seconds.
Yeah, the transponders are melting in the heat here in India.
Yeah, and Dennis is having problems now as well. He's having scenario 4, which is the heat, the battery temperature heats too much. So he's having to back off.
Yeah, these last 10 laps could get very dramatic if cars having to really dramatically slow down just to get some cool air into the car, into the battery.
It's the second hottest EPrix on record at 38 degrees when the lights went out as well. It was 39 degrees back in Season 5 Santiago. And that was the hottest EPrix on record. And
Yeah, I think you're right there, Josh.
Rast is going well. This is insane. That was a great race actually as well, Season 5 in Santiago. Look at Cassidy. He's no stranger to this heat as well. Growing up on the opposite side of the world, where it's summer in the winter. Can he get a run now?
If you get a Cassidy's front wing as carded company somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know where. We haven't figured that one out. Maybe it was down at...
Bumped into the back of Vern a few
Yeah.
times previously and we missed it.
Well, on one side, you see several cars following each other in perfect order with damage, and on the other side, you see the Indian Highway.
Oh, not for much longer. That looked like Sede Kamara going into attack mode. Somebody going into attack mode.
Yellow flag down at turn for safety car. Whatever it is, it's throwing the safety car. We have a safety car down at turn 4, and it's a big one. I can't see why, and I think it's JQ's in the McLaren. Safety car is out, and it is a big one.
There we go.
It's Hughes with no front wing. He's facing the right direction.
He's stuck on his front wing.
Well, could this be a red flag, actually, to get him out of the way? Because we need to bring a tractor out to get to that part of the track.
His rear wheels are pointing different directions.
That's on the racing line, yeah.
So this could be a red flag in order to get that. Although
There's a
this...
And that's just on the exit of the hairpin
Yeah.
as well. So I think Hughes might have been going for attack mode and rejoin and hit one of the other cars as he was coming back.
Nick's right. Look, there's a tractor and an entrance just around the corner from that. But I think red flag and clear the track up a little bit, as Nick suggested.
Pull the cars down. We'll have a 10-lap sprint.
And we have added laps with the safety car as well.
Oh, that's true, yeah. But we've only got 8 laps left at this point.
So plus the 2.
There's a point where if we go to 5 laps to go, then that we can't add on the extra laps, can we, Josh?
That is true. 25%, 80% of the race distance is 25 laps. We're on lap 24. So the race, if it gets red flagged in the next lap, counts. So maybe not red flag.
Good thing with the Formula E cars is they can go as slow as they need to. It's not like Formula 1. So either they go this speed for a lap, the car gets cleared away, and the cars have all cooled down as well.
9 laps, I'm being told, on the start line there as well by the 5 lights. Okay, so usual procedure, although we can have a maximum of 5 added laps for this EPrix. If we spend anywhere from 0 to 3 minutes 39, we have no added laps. If we go over 3 minutes 40 to 7 minutes 19, we have an extra lap. 7:20 to 10:59, it's 2 laps. 11 minutes to 14:39, it's 3 laps. 14:40 to 18:19, it's 4 laps. 18 minutes to 21:59, it's 5 laps. So you can have a maximum of 5 laps in this EPrix. But by the speed of the marshals here, which are local marshals that work across the series, we might go green at the end of the next lap. And this is what happened. Oh, that's weird. Under acceleration, the car just hit the wall. Like he got a massive lock on. That's similar to what happened to Wehrlein. Exit the corner.
Yeah, my first thought was a rookie error.
Okay, you okay, mate?
The mirror got stuck behind the steering wheel.
Oh, wow.
Oh. Well, that is something about the Gen 3 cars we've not thought about before. The mirror literally came loose and then got jammed in the steering wheel, so he was forced to go right. He couldn't get out of that one.
And they're bigger mirrors.
Good.
They're bigger mirrors this year as well. They've been increased by, what, 2 meters either side?
Add that to the list. You can't stop accelerating, and you can't steer.
Basically, this is a bum on wheels. This is ridiculous. Can't steer, can't stop. Acceleration at random times. Oh dear. So safety car still exists. Yeah.
Oh, it was IndyCar, wasn't it? Rosenqvist, his throttle got stuck on. That was a very scary accident.
Oh yeah, Detroit. Yeah, two years ago I think. Yeah, broke his leg, didn't he, Rosenqvist, at that point?
Yep.
Very similar thing nearly happened to Wehrlein though, on Friday in practice 1. The throttle just stuck on as well, and with it being electric power, it was instant 100% torque, and he just spanning around into the wall. It was horrible.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I go quiet. It's because I'm doing tweets for Nemo McLaren. I just doing a whole elaborate narrative about his stealing a safety car.
The team principal of the Jaguar team, who has had a little bit of a disaster this afternoon.
I'll tell you what. Let's go down to Radzik.
Well, I'm still outside Jaguar TCS, joined by team principal James Barkley. James, it's going to be a tough conversation to have here. Freak incident with Mitch and Sam. What do you make of what happened?
Well, I think firstly, I'm just incredibly proud of the team. You know, pole position. Sam was vying for front row today in qualifying. We had great performance in the race. You know, we had to kind of bring Mitch back into the pack just to kind of recover a bit of energy then. But the team are performing really, really well. And sometimes mistakes happen. You know, a small mistake with massive consequences. But, you know, it is what it is. We can't change that now. We look at the base performance from the team, and it's been incredibly strong today. So, yeah, all we can do is turn around and focus on next weekend from this, but all the core ingredients are good. It's just one will hurt, obviously, for a little while.
Thanks for your time. See you in South Africa.
Safety car in this lap. So we're going to get at least an additional 1 lap here, guys.
You know, I'm starting to think Mitch Evans isn't going to win this race.
Well, to be fair, Degrassi might. He's 10th. He's looking a bit better, but I think the big one here is is Nick Homewood, who said Jake Dennis, and you've got 4th at the moment there, Nick.
I saw somebody predicted Buemi was going to win. So
Did I say I said Buemi? I just remembered I said Buemi. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought you did on the Grid Network, unless you changed it since then.
Yeah, no. I thought Degrassi would get a podium, but it was Buemi to take the win. You've just reminded me.
Well, his energy's not looking as good as Cassidy. Cassidy looks like he's sort of in the box seats at this point, but Vern could be able to just about hold him off. We'll see.
This is getting interesting. Just quick. 5:22 on the stopwatch. 7:19. Never mind. I'm not going to do another 2 minutes under the safety car.
We have 3% more energy than Jeff.
3% more energy basically means go for it. Go for the win.
That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, look, it sounded like his race engineer temporarily forgot who was in the lead, but there we go. Looks like Jeff being released then. And so the race back underway, Josh.
5 minutes and 42 seconds exactly. I've stopped the stopwatch at, which means it's 1 extra lap later. Green flag again in Hyderabad. Vern leads, Cassidy, Buemi, Dennis, as the enthusiastic fans wave the flags of the marshals as we head through turn 1 and 2. No one's gone sideways this time. Now the long run down towards turn 3. Buemi seems to have some form of power. Can he have a go at Cassidy? Gets on the dust to try. Dennis stays in behind, covers off from Rast. At the inside goes Roland, and Rast goes up in the air. Rast goes up in the air, brings out the yellow flag again. He went over the back of Roland.
And the curse of Nemo McLaren strikes again.
Dennis has got damage.
Oh, and that, well, there's a yellow flag out again, by the way. Rast is stopping. Rast is in big trouble now. And as this is getting, Neo McLaren just having a weekend to forget. Rast is on the radio.
Crashed. Front wing damage.
Will that be another safety car to add to the list as well? Roland passes Dennis. Yeah, Nick, what happened there with Dennis? He had damage too. He's been passed.
Yeah, he got caught up in that.
Oh, no. Gets worse. Green flag, race on.
Good news for Roland, though. Somehow Mahindra could end up winning.
Dennis in the pits.
Oh, no, Dennis out! Dennis out!
It must be rear damage. So this is great for Wehrlein in the championship, then.
Oh, this just gets worse and worse. Well, Wehrlein, where is he in the championship? He's 7th, so he'll increase that gap from 6. But here comes Nick Cassidy, as well as we see replays in the bottom right of Rast going up in the air as well.
And Roland hit him as well.
And Cassidy trying to go around the outside and trying to make Vern in towards turn 3. Vern goes in deep. Cassidy can't get the cut back. Buemi's right there too, as well as Roland. This is insane, but the first DNF of the year for Jake Dennis. It's all happened here in Hyderabad.
And Jev has really just got to drive on his ring mirrors and hope one of them doesn't get stuck in the front in the steering wheel.
That's true. That is true. Look at Cassidy.
Maybe that's a Nemo McLaren curse specific issue.
That's the commentator. Mortara's taking attack mode. Not that'll do much good down in 14th position. Cassidy is all over the back of Vern through 12 and 13.
Van Dorn's up to 6th.
What is this race? Van Dorn started down in 17th position. He's 6th. This is insane.
I think Cassidy's lining up for another attempt at the hairpin, Josh.
Yeah. Dennis has carried on. He's out of the pits.
Oh, yeah. So why did he come? Roland's front wing is about as useful as...
that's hanging by a thread.
Yeah, that's going to go massively, isn't it, if he's not careful? Who's behind him? Da Costa. Through turn 1 and 2. Cassidy was jumping across the curves. Let's hear from Roland.
Get through. Down towards the hairpin.
Struggling on entry with balance.
Oh, and there it goes. It's gone in the back. Yeah, Roland's wing's gone in the background. Cassidy tries around the outside once again. Buemi's there as well. If there's any chance on the inside line, no one's playing for fair this time out. And there's Jake Hughes just watching the race on the sidelines.
Oh, I thought that was one of the marshals there, but you're right, Josh. It's Jake Hughes.
Oh. Van Dorn, Degrassi, Lotterer, black and white flag for track limits.
And the wing's still just about holding on, although I don't know how for Roland.
Buemi's radio.
So be smart here, be smart. Remember what happened last race.
Be smart. Remember what happened last race. Yeah, exactly.
So
don't go too
keeping the energy dry till the end then.
Oh, and
Roland should be meatballed. That's not safe.
Yeah, it's literally, as Ed said, hanging by a thread. You're right, Nick, as well. He should get in the pit lane. But and look at Cassidy all over the back again.
They'll probably let Roland off because it's Mahindra's home race and they want them to finish in the top 4.
Yeah, and what's happened to the other one, the Degrassi P8? Jev has been given... Jev! Black flag! Black flag! Jean-Eric Verne has been black flagged from the EPrix for track limits! He's been black flagged! He is
He pushed
out!
it too many times then at turn 1.
There's Rust's swing! And black flag for Jean-Eric Verne. Hang on! Correction! It's correction! Black and white flag! It's flashed up on the monitor! It's black and white flag! So they get us all excited!
Lotterer goes into attack mode.
And someone was in the wall! No, after Lotterer, someone else was in there, no yellow flags! Cassidy!
No.
It's an error! The FIA made an error! It's a black and white flag for track limits, it's not a black flag for Jean-Eric Verne! They have put correction on. You can see it on your monitors.
It is really, somebody's just let all the fish from Finding Nemo into race control today.
What is hang on! It's involving Rast and Dennis is under investigation.
They're floundering a bit.
Oh, well done, Jim. That's another one of the year. Like the high rake setup. That's brilliant, that one. Wow, this is fantastic. So, Verne's been given a black and white flag, not a black flag, as the timing screens originally showed us to. At least he's
If he does it again, he could get a penalty, though.
That's true. And Dennis is under investigation for track limits. The race has been extended by 1 lap. We knew that was going to happen. So, I did get that right. So, there will be a 33-lap race, not a 32-lap race.
Oh, that was a bit close, but I think Jev was just in there.
Yeah, and Dennis under yeah, we already knew that as well. Down into turn 3 we go. Roland's trying to have a go around the outside of Buemi. Into turn 3. Roland turns him off. Buemi forces him wide. And another.
And through goes Da Costa.
Oh,
no, it's Wehrlein.
Yeah, Wehrlein.
Is it? No, it is Da Costa.
Costa's dropping.
Da Costa.
That's his transponder going, isn't it?
Yeah, on board with that's
Wehrlein.
Wehrlein.
Here's Wehrlein.
Yeah, so that was Da Costa. Yeah, Da Costa's to 4th. He's past Roland as well. And this is insane. Roland's in trouble now.
Wehrlein's got a damaged wing.
Oh, Wehrlein too? What is going on? It's the one Formula E car that doesn't have damage. Even Cassidy's got damage on his front, and Wehrlein's missing a winglet. Let's take a look at Roland. And this is it. So yeah, I think there was contact.
Everyone's figured out they can just defend from the inside, because this is what Jev was doing. But Buemi almost pushes him in the wall, going a bit even further. Oh, and Da Costa goes, thank you very much, I'll have that.
That wing is hanging on like a tooth. Oh, and Cassidy's getting desperate.
Not sure what that was there. That didn't look intentional. That looked almost like he just got caught in the dust and understeered.
That's only 1 of 33. Through turn 2 again. Verne is going to be slow down the straight.
Has Cassidy used more energy trying to keep up with Verne here, I wonder?
I think
it looks like they're...
Yeah. Last time I saw...
And Da Costa is suddenly looking very threatening.
Oh, here we go. Can Cassidy get through? No. And yeah, Da Costa's got something. Last time I saw, Verne was on 14%, Cassidy was on 17%. That was a couple of laps ago, though. So Cassidy, I think, has got more energy than anybody else in the field right now. Degrassi and Van Dorn are under investigation for track limits. So that is currently...
Cassidy 11%, it's saying.
Right, okay.
Wow, 4% more.
How on earth has he done that? That Envision is literally a green car.
Well, he's got to make sure he uses it, because he's not got much time left to do so.
Yeah, he's got to push it hard. He's got to go for it, but this is such a tight track to overtake at. He can't find the right slipstream manoeuvres. He can't find one through. Maybe around the outside.
He's forcing Verne to run out here.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. I think that's what turn 18 was about last lap. He's trying to force Jev into an error. Norman Nato has been given a black and white flag now for track limits.
It's easier to say now who hasn't been given a black and white flag for track limits.
I don't think it's many. I think
Cassidy, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just Cassidy. Maybe Buemi, although...
Well, he's been stuck behind Verne all race at this rate. Here we go.
Round the outside again into turn 3. He's all out of shape. Verne defends the inside line. Cassidy thought about the cutback. Buemi's right there too.
I think the Envision.
Here's Cassidy's radio.
2 laps, yeah, 2 laps.
2 laps. And he can try
I
the
thought for a second there we were going to have a repeat of the Jaguars crashing into each other with the Envisions.
And Verne's getting very low on energy.
Is he going to make it to the end? He's going to have
Roland as well. And Degrassi is really looking bad on energy, surprisingly.
How has Cassidy managed to save half an extra than these two? Van Dorn and Degrassi have been given a 5-second time penalty for track limits.
That moves Wehrlein up a place.
we're going to have to wait until after the checkered flag to find out who won this race by this time. Because everyone's just moving over. And Cassidy's going to try around the outside. Vern's only on 3%. I don't think he's going to make it to the end. This will be a last lap manoeuvre from Cassidy to win his second ever EPrix.
Yeah, 2%. I think Cassidy's coming through here.
Yeah, he's going to have to do it. Vern's lifting off on the last corner. Last lap, the call. Down the inside. Into turn 2. That's a brave move. Do it into turn 3. You can just save it through 1 and 2. Down the straight we go. Look at how much he's burning through. He was on 7% at the start of the race. Now he's on 5. Now he's on 4. Using it all. Vern defends the inside line. Cassidy looks on the outside. There's a lockup. There's a lockup.
Oh, it's just a huge train now behind Jev. He's just coasting at home now.
Look at Sylvan. No, just go like that with his fingers. Just 1%. Completely. 1% for Vern. It won't last. Degrassi's on 0.9. Now he saves it to 1. Vern's lifting. Vern's lifting. Through the bobsleigh section again. Come on, Nick. Come on, Cassidy. Go
Everyone
for it.
on 1%, apart from Cassidy.
Who's on 4? He can do another lap. Vern's hitting zeros. Vern's going to run out. 0.9. He's harvesting. Why isn't Cassidy going for it?
Well, there's nowhere to overtake here, Josh.
3 corners left. Go for it. Go for it.
This one is
0.3, 0.2, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4.
He's reading numbers now.
Can Cassidy get through? No, out of the last corner. Can it happen? 0.4. It hasn't happened. Shuddering Vern wins a dominant race. And a fantastic
did he run out
run.
just before the line, though?
Oh, he hit 0 at the line.
I think he might have just held on.
3% for Cassidy, but Shuddering Vern wins in India. DS Penske win for the first time. Unbelievable.
I think Degrassi ran out right before the final corner, though.
I don't know why Cassidy was so far back on that lap.
Maybe he was worried Jev was going to take him out if he went for a move.
Black and gold win again. Penske win for the first time. And Shuddering Vern wins.
Well,
for
Dragon won a few races in like season 2 and won.
Right away, buddy. Brilliant drive.
We'll wait to see if he got any penalties on the last lap.
You're the race director. Would you give him any?
Well, I didn't know the track limits.
Well, Van Dorn definitely got a penalty. We know that much. So Van Dorn, I'm not sure if he finished his 7th. I think he might be bumped down to 10th or something like that.
Someone's
but
crashed.
that was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy, all pretty much since about lap 10 onwards.
Sorry, I had a coughing fit there. Somebody went for a spin at turn 4 after the flag. Buemi under investigation for overpower.
Oh, well, that's almost certainly a coding error, or him going over the bumps and setting that off. So that could put, De Costa onto the podium.
Another place for Wehrlein as well, probably. He could end up 4th.
At this rate, because Dennis was still in the race at the end. I'm not sure quite what happened with him going into the pits, but there might have been.
He just had flailing debris that they needed to remove.
Yeah, quite possibly. But I feel like if there are too many penalties ahead, then Dennis could end up sneaking a point or two, just because of how chaotic things have been.
I agree with Mr. Clean, who says it really annoys him. He can't watch this in his country. Well, we're working on things.
In India, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we need to have a talk with Formula E, and maybe Mark Preston can help us out there. But
I know Mark sent the email to the TV director. Oh, and now Channel 4 go for an ad break.
Yeah, there we go. Well, typical Channel 4 ad break. But wow, that's certainly. I almost want to say turn the championship on its head, but actually Wehrlein's probably extended the lead ever so slightly. But I think Jev's best finish was a 7th in one of the races at Diriyah before then. So you have to say the opportunity came, and Jev really just went for it, put himself, got that track position, and then was able to defend pretty robustly. But you got to say, I don't think there was really an opportunity for Nick Cassidy, even at the end there when he had so much more energy, because Jev just didn't make any mistakes, apart from maybe track limits once or twice.
The gap that was 6 points coming into this race leaves as 16 points, the gap. That's the official early maths.
So the big question is Buemi going to get penalised off the podium, or are they going to let him go walk on?
That's
or
true.
Or they put De Costa on there?
Well, if it's overpower, it's usually a slam dunk, isn't it? That you just get a penalty for that and be disqualified. Black flag even as well. Because that happened to... That'd be really ironic if Buemi has his best race since moving away from Nissan, and then a Nissan-type problem happens to him. with the overpower. That'd be fantastic. For comedy value, not for racing value. But has the time penalties been applied already to our data screens?
Yeah, when they crossed the line, all the positions shuffled immediately.
So this.
Well, I know Degrassi basically ran out, so that he sort of gave himself his own penalty.
Yeah.
And I think Van Dorn had the actual penalty applied, so I think he finishes. I think he might not even finish in the points now because of that 5-second penalty, whatever it is. For the
yeah. What's crucial here is that nobody gets the bonus point for fastest lap because it was taken by Nico Muller, who finished 12th on a 1:14.656.
Wow.
So if. Well, hang on. We know there's some investigations after the race, don't we? So that could actually still end up his. I don't think we'll know the result of this race until later. Jay Penske, though, however, is very, very happy in Parc Fermé, as we've got TV pictures back. Right. Oh, and we missed the moment of Jev getting out of the car. But there he is. Happy, delighted, race winner.
And he waited so long. Remember, he didn't win last season at all, even though he was in the championship fight. So that's a well-deserved victory because Jev came close. Like Jakarta comes to mind. Is another one where he came really close to winning.
You might like this.
Is this the first win since Rome?
Yes.
Season 7 for him.
Yes, since me and you started commentating together, Ed. Rome 2021.
Oh, wow. That is quite a while.
That is a long time.
Even longer for Jay Penske.
Wonderful, says Jay Penske. Interviews coming on. So, Buemi, still under that investigation. We haven't seen anything just yet. Race got extended by 1 lap, so it was a 33-lap EPrix. When was the last time? So, Dragon Penske was the original one, but it was originally Dragon, wasn't it? Then Penske came in season 2. Let's hear from Jev.
Well, no, it was always Penske.
In the context of how tough the season has been so far, to come out as champion, you must be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, very, very, very happy. It was a tough race. I had to defend quite hard at the end, but you know, we somehow managed to win it. It was a clean race, no mistake. Very happy with the win today. I think it's good for everybody's heart in our team. You know, after the first 3 races, it's it's good to boost it with a good race like that. So yeah, I couldn't be happier.
We saw what it meant to Jay Penske. We obviously see what it means to you. But in terms of podiums in inaugural races, you won Long Beach, Montreal, New York, Diriyah, and now Hyderabad. We can see, look at the sportsmanship here. Stoffel Van Dorn, the reigning world champion, congratulating the winner here. You really like new tracks?
Yeah, I like new tracks. I think it's cool. Especially this one is a lot of fun. Yeah, I guess when there is still a lot of little secrets to find on the track, I probably, thank you, find them, quickly enough.
Are you the happiest man in India right now?
Yeah, I'm quite happy.
Congratulations, John.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Jean Verne taking the race win. And let's have a look at the start. Verne was second on the grid with Mitch Evans. He took the lead.
He may not be the happiest man in India, but there's certainly a lot of very unhappy people in this racetrack.
Yeah, there's the flag moment as well. I think he lifted just at the last seconds. I think he's safe. He hasn't flashed up with power overuse like Buemi has.
Oliver Turvey looked almost like he'd won the race himself there.
Well, it's the closest Oliver Turvey will ever get to winning again.
Wow, it's standing in the garage of the DS is probably closer to victory than in the cockpit of the Neo, sadly. Although they do seem a bit better this season.
I do want to hear from Mark Preston though to see what
I think Sade Kumara scored his first points of the season as well.
Let's hear from Nick Cassidy then.
I saw 1 lap you right here. There is Cassidy having a...
Well, that's Karun Chandhok, who I thought he was doing an interview with him, but he's not.
Oh,
he's having a chat.
Driver of the race apparently was Cassidy.
Oh,
but,
wow. Well deserved that.
Where did he come from?
Hang on. Drive-through penalty converted into a 17-second drive-through for Sebastian Buemi, which drops him from 3rd to 15th. Da Costa is on the podium.
Right, let me just change the flags.
So, yeah, it's confirmed. Car 16 Buemi, drive-through penalty, converted into 17 seconds for overpower, drops him from 3rd to 15th, out of the points for Buemi. And it is a Porsche 3-4 with Da Costa and Wehrlein, which means the gap in the championship was 16 points. It is now 18 points.
Ah, that's bitter because that wasn't Seb's fault at all. The overpower there, was it?
No, it was the extra lap.
It was just a coding issue, like Mark Preston said about Tictum in Mexico.
Indeed.
What's he building there? It's very weird.
Big statue, I think. A monument to the Prime Minister, maybe, or something. I don't know. Maybe a death weapon, a laser.
That's a pretty custody.
Yeah, cheers. I mean, I had a really good car today. Huge thanks to all my guys, I think. In the races this year, we've been pretty good. I'm really feel for Mitch and Jaguar today because they're a great partner. They've started the season really strongly. I think the package that we have is very strong, and so I'm super sorry to see them go out of the race like that.
Well said, and obviously it speaks to your sportsmanship. Just finally, in terms of when you haven't made the duels, so no duels at all this season, but you managed to get on the podium. What does that say about you?
Well, that we're good in the race. Honestly, I think we're there in quality as well. I mean, Riyadh and Mexico and here, the difference between P1 and me in the duel being P5 has been 2/10. So it's not a big margin, you know, from being 5th and starting 10th or potentially pole. So look, our day will come.
Massive day for yourself, massive day for your team. Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Just quickly, since I'll ask, when is the next race? It is in 2 weeks' time in South Africa. And that creates a bit of a problem because we won't be in this commentary box because it's the same day as the last day of F1 testing. So I'm being shoved to commentary box B, and hopefully we will find a way that Ed and Nick, if he joins us again, will be seeing the same pictures. The current thing, guys, is that we might have to use YouTube and use the times too, and then
or Channel 4 if they're showing it on there.
Indeed, yeah. And then hopefully we'll be okay. But if not, I'm perfectly happy to commentate solo and have you back for some testing in an F1 to make up for it at some point in the season. Let's hear from DaCosta, freshly third.
And Luis DaCosta, 100 races, and what a way to celebrate it on the podium.
Yeah, it felt like it was meant to be, you know, because the race actually started really well, and then I got squeezed by Dennis, and I lost a lot of positions, and, you know, we stayed calm and worked our way back to the front, slowly managed our energy, and yeah, it hasn't been an easy start for me, and it was an emotional day, I have to say, looking back at the 100 races, at the 99 races before, and where I am, and things not really working out as I want them to be. You know, I can't be satisfied with the way I'm qualifying at the moment. So, but having said that, you know, I've got an amazing team behind me, keep always pushing me, giving me the tools to. So I know it's only a matter of time until we start doing a better job in qualifying, and obviously the car can race really well. So yeah, I'm happy I came all the way to India and I go home with a podium for my 100th race.
And just personally, what does it mean to you? P13 to P3. It was one of my favorite races ever.
It was, yeah. I mean, so much happened. You know, I got angry, I was happy, I was calm, I was stressed. But again, worked well with the team throughout the whole race, and I guess that's the experience of 100 races, if I'm honest. You know, starting there and coming all the way up here. So yeah,
congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
Where would that rank on your list then, guys? As great races, we've had 104. That was entertaining. Would that make it into the top 5?
I don't know. I think Nick was sort of on the money when he was calling for a safety car and they weren't throwing one. Maybe we're just being a little bit overly safety conscious and they knew what they were doing, but it did look like there was a lot of debris, and we got very lucky we didn't see more punches there. But there's Buemi looking crestfallen, and understandably so, really, because there's nothing he could have done there to avoid that. And there's the driver's room that will no doubt be hearing weeks from now what they're actually saying.
Yeah, never get that. And what is new this weekend as well is that they've got the old commentary boxes back. So actually, Jack Nicholls is just to the left of that picture.
In terms of the actual race, it was really unpredictable, which is what we love to see. I think it's definitely a bit of a change from the first 3 races where it was... I don't want to say it was predictable, but especially after Mexico, everyone bet on Porsche. You did pretty well, whereas... I sort of felt something different was going to happen here, but I didn't think that was going to happen at all. I didn't see a Jev victory coming. So that shows you should never really count him out. And
guys, I've just realised something here, but Ed, you picked Evans. He retired. Nick, you picked Jake Dennis, 16th, and I picked Sebastian Buemi. third, but then penalty. I think we're
And Ben from Grid Network, I think he picked Bird, who crashed into Evans. So his pick took out my pick.
I think we're a curse. I think
not as much of a curse as McLaren Nemo clearly is, because both their guys crashed out in pretty bizarre circumstances.
Nelson Piquet.
Although I think Rast was kind of his own fault because he just hit the back of Dennis, didn't he? He just didn't brake in time.
Really strange.
Didn't know anywhere to go.
There's
Oh no, it was Roland, wasn't it? And then Rast.
One thing
I can't remember. It was too crazy. There's too much happening at once.
What has Nelson Piquet Jr. done this weekend? Because it was Karun on commentary. I don't know if he was in the race commentary or not.
He did practice commentary, I heard him on.
Bit weird having him there and not using him. I never get
When you
that.
say, what has he done? Is he being punished by being on the commentator now?
Well, maybe that too. It is Nelson Piquet Jr. after all. But still, yeah. I can't imagine. Because that's a bit rude. Because imagine if I just brought Nick in for the pre-race show and then told him to go away for the race. I mean, it's not fair.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if Nick was busy, it would be understandable. But...
Nick, what do you think?
I go back to bed.
Exactly, yeah.
I am going to get... I'm going to have some food. I'm going to get a bath. And then I'm going for a nap.
Don't you have to end the broadcast first, Josh?
Yes. I'm not taking you into my bathtub. There's too many rubber ducks.
Yeah, well,
I could do
our
with...
relationship has taken a strange turn. Anyway, I'm waiting for the podium here. I've just been getting it ready. I have to replace Buemi with Da Costa.
Incident involving Lotterer and Mortara has been noted by the stewards. So
is there anyone that didn't have an incident?
I don't know. If you look at the race control chat, can we get that up on the monitor? Is that possible? Hang on. I'm going to click the F8. Yes, here we go. Look at that. This was all of the... I'm just showing it right now on the monitor. This was all the race control notifications we got in this race. I don't think there was a single person, as you say, Nick, who had a clean race.
Maybe Van der Linde, because he retired on the third lap.
Well, that's not clean. That's still an incident, though.
Didn't he go off the track?
Oh, okay. Fair. The safety car driver?
Well, he got one outing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there we go then.
I think someone needs to teach the marshals what a yellow flag is, by the way.
It had yellow on it.
Yeah, and a red, so we got halfway where we needed to be. With a red flag, possibly.
I'm amazed Mortara still got a point after losing his front wing at the beginning of the race. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I forgot that. He was up in the air, and he finished 10th. Well, doesn't that just sum it up?
Well, that's mainly because of the Buemi penalty.
Is this
Where did Fenestras end up after that?
12th.
12th? For God's sake.
Despite being held up, but he was just ahead of Gunther, so yeah.
Well,
the safety car must have helped a little bit near the end.
Burch just kamikazing Evans there as well. I mean...
I still can't believe Sede Kamara finished 5th in the end.
Oh, God, is that his best result?
Roland, so that's great.
That's his best ever result.
I think that's their best result since... it's a bit of a freak result, admittedly, but it's near Free's best result since...
Long time, yeah.
Oh, Diria in season 7 when I think...
Yes, Podium.
Turvey finished 6th.
Yeah.
Although Turvey did finish 7th in Rome last season as well.
Just quick, that is Sergio Sede Camara's best ever finish in Formula E. His previous best was 15th. So now he's finished 5th, so he's 10 places higher.
Well, that shows the quality of cars that Sede Camara has been kind of dumped with.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, despite that, remember when he went off at turn 1 and 2 and it looked like he was about to hit the wall? Like, he just had this crazy moment on attack mode.
Just having a look, Dan Tickton failed to finish. Jake Hughes failed to finish. Sasha Fenestras was 12th, as we said. So he hasn't beaten his best finish in Formula E. So, yeah, it is Sergio Sede Camara who brings that down to 5th now. So, yeah. Although Kelvin van der Linde still is on a best grid of 19th. So it's not going too well there.
He's never driven a single-seater before, though, had he? Before...
No, he hadn't. No, you're right. Yeah.
Before Diria. He only did touring cars and GT.
Guys, where's the podium?
Oh, it's right here, Josh.
Oh, there it is. I'm just thinking, we're filling and there's no podium.
It's across the city and they got stuck in traditional Indian traffic.
Well, I got plenty of stuff we can fill with if need be.
We're on a tuk-tuk as well.
Yeah, I got a I got a very well-known Lego well, not that well-known, he's quite obscure, Lego YouTuber, guy called RR Slugger, to do a little a few things for our Lego Formula E video.
Yeah.
He's going to do a little technical expert. If you go to his channel, he's a big fan of this old Lego theme called Rock Raiders, but he also does a bunch of other stuff as well. And Rock Raiders also had you might remember it from a RTS video game from like the very late 90s.
Oh, I do.
Which was quite obscure, but it sort of you sort of know, like I had a teacher who actually had that game, and here we go on board with Ras. Then looking at the replay, so this is him behind Dennis. Goes, that was such a late move. I don't know what Rene Ras was thinking there.
But he had Roland with him, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Roland made a move, and he's looking at Roland and not at Dennis. Then
I just crashed
that's why he ran to the back over the wheel. Here we go.
Oh my God! The reason we haven't got a podium. Multiple track limits still under investigation.
And look at the back of Dennis's car. I didn't realise called
Yeah.
the rear winglets. Is that the name for them? They just sort of both of them had just been kind of dangling off there, so they obviously had to be pulled off when he went into the pit lane.
So even the race directors don't know the result.
Jean-Eric Verne is under investigation, I believe. That's why we're waiting for the podium.
Ah, for the track limits, maybe.
Yes, for the black and white
there's
flag.
the three of them waiting to get on the podium. Surely they'll let him on the podium.
6 minutes.
Surely they'll let him on the podium, and this will be a Hong Kong sort of situation. Like remember when Sam Bird went on the podium at Hong Kong in season 5 after taking out Andre Lotter, and then Mortaro is declared the winner about several hours later, I think.
They are wondering what they're doing, aren't they? I think they're doing it. So yeah, you're right. They've had to cross the track. So multiple track limits are still under investigation. I think we're going to have to do a wrap-up show. I think the Grid Network wrap-up show, we're going to have to upload on this channel as well, just to clear everything up.
From a race direction standpoint, this has been pretty abysmal.
Yeah, I think...
India not exactly making a tidy debut on the world stage, but a traditionally chaotic one. And of course, Jay Penske, because they haven't won in a while, Jay has to go up because he's the big man.
Tom Cruise.
Oh, yeah, of course. He's been quite generous playing Tom go up.
I mean, I've got no idea. We're going to leave after the podium. We'll do a quick sum up, but we generally don't have any idea of what the result's going to be because it's changing every 5 seconds.
We'll let you know in Cape Town, I guess.
Yeah.
If they've sorted it out by then.
Protest upon protest as well. This could get. I'm not even going to bother adjusting my sheet with pen because I could.
Have you got the podium music ready, Josh? The rave music.
I do.
Okay. Ready for the champagne, I think.
Yes. I was using the thingy music you sent me as well, actually, during the practice highlights now when I do the voiceovers, and I've got it ready for the exit as well, actually. So
yeah, they do use a couple of them for different ones, like a couple of them they repurpose for different things. There's a general kind of results screen theme that gets used for the duels as well.
It's Vamos, isn't it? I need up now.
Vamos is it's only used for the podium when the champagne goes. All the others just get sort of reused.
I've got
I'm actually the Slugger guy. I wanted to mention him because one of the things I'm getting him to do is because he makes his own music for his videos.
Oh wow!
I'm trying to get him to do a medieval version of the Formula E theme.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Oh, where can we play that? Rome.
Well, we've got the thing is Lego Formula. We've got a little band. We've got a little troubadour. I can show you if you want. While Nick Cassidy is.
Oh yeah, Nick
Rome
Cassidy
is going to be a mess in these cars.
Oh, I can't wait for Rome.
Rome is always fun though.
Rome is going to be amazing.
Especially up the hill where you've got that.
Here we go. We've got a little piano. Oh
no,
yeah,
up the hill. Nick's right up the hill. Yeah. Oh, anyway, just quickly.
Here we go.
Oh, Jean-Eric Verne. I was about to do the national anthem, but it's the French we need. Oh, that's great. Is that the band one?
Yeah, I need a few other members. Maybe I'll use the wizard as a drummer or something with his little wand.
Well, provisionally results, of course, because multiple tracks are under investigation.
Oh, there's the FIA president getting involved by giving out the trophy.
Mohammed Ben Sulayem.
That felt like a very Mohammed Ben Sulayem kind of race. Didn't
it did. Utter chaos, and then not much point.
Like his Twitter account. It seemed more chaotic than the Nemo McLaren.
In Jean-Eric Verne's honour, then, it's time for the French national anthem here in India. I have a feeling that's been done before somewhere. I can't remember where.
Well, certainly not Formula One.
now it's anybody's guess as to what is about to be played for DS Penske. Is it be the American or the Chinese? We're going to find out now.
Why would it be Chinese?
I don't
It'd
know.
be French for DS Stellantis, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
No,
you're
surely
right.
it's going to be American because it's still an American-owned team, DS Penske.
I think it is.
Jay Penske. There.
What?
What?
Winning team Mahindra.
The American national anthem.
Yeah, well, there we go. Just the typical Indian. They wanted Mahindra to win so bad, they tried to manifest it.
Jay Penske is laughing. Well, if you're an American fan, enjoy the Stars and Stripes. Apparently,
God, I
you're now
thought the
Indian.
on-site announcers at London were bad. But at least they didn't announce the wrong team in the race.
Oh God. We're not having much luck this year, are we?
All the
Remember-
Mahindra fans cheered when they said that as well. So there are a couple of people thinking maybe there've been loads of penalties and Roland had won. Which is the
Possible
funniest.
still.
That's possible, yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, we're not having much luck with podiums, are we? The England flag in
Oh yeah, in Mexico where they put the one without the stripes for Ireland.
Jay Penske there, owner of Mahindra. That's
He
ridiculous.
owns 2 teams now.
I've never seen. Oh, did she correct it?
Who have joined up with DS this year.
I think Jack Nichols just made that joke.
Trophy presentation.
I'm not too sure. I'll have to rewind that back. Anyway, trophy time. Well, I don't think she corrected it. I think it's the same one as well who does the around the world. So she must have got confused information.
Is it? No. She sounds like a local to my mind.
Mohammed Ben Sulayem presents the trophy to Jay Penske for the team's championship. The FIA president. First win since season 1 for Jay Penske. I'm just hearing in my
No,
ears.
season 2, isn't it?
Jack just said
'Cause they
season
won-
1.
No, I'm pretty sure they won a race in season 2. Mexico season 2, wasn't it?
Yeah,
D'Ambrosio.
D'Ambrosio.
Because Degrassi got disqualified, so D'Ambrosio
yeah,
won that one.
Yeah, you're right. Because season 1 Berlin was also
Well,
D'Ambrosio.
I mean, Jack doesn't have a identikit memory.
No, that's true. Antonio Vince da Costa in his 100th EPrix gets a podium. Podium number 17 of his career. And for Nick Cassidy, it's his 5th career podium in Formula E as well. And Apt back up top. Why did I say that? Why did I say that?
Oh, you're doing what the announcer did.
Yeah.
Mahindra Apt, all the Mahindra powered cars. Yeah.
I know why I did that, because I've just seen the Apt name flash up on the timing screen. That's why. Because they're shifting
Yes,
positions.
Penske definitely
Yeah.
back on top, which is sort of what we were predicting after testing, but not in these circumstances. Certainly, that was a win that Jev took today, I think.
And he takes it in honours, his 11th win in Formula E's 31st podium as well. Vern back for the first time, all the way since back in Season 7 Rome.
Is that the trophy?
It is the trophy.
Oh, it's blown back in his face.
Come on! There's no champagne in India. What's this about?
Oh, it's a little t-shirt gun sort of thing with a little camera on the end. He can't get it to work, so he's just dropped it.
Where's the
That's summed up
champagne?
this whole race.
Oh, we don't even get champagne. Can you drink in India? Is it allowed? I don't think it is.
I'm pretty sure it's allowed. You're allowed
Yeah,
to drink.
Yeah, because we had champagne on the podium in Formula 1. I'm convinced. I'm not sure.
Well,
But even if
there's
you
no,
can't-
no Mahindra on the podium, no party.
Because
No alcohol.
they would have had non-alcoholic something.
See you in Diriyah?
What?
We're not going back to Diriyah.
What
You
is
didn't tell me this was happening, Josh.
What is going on?
No deal. Right, screw this. I'm out.
Oh, they've changed it. They've changed it. It now says see you in
Cape Town.
Cape Town.
There we go.
Yeah.
Finally.
So, Penske is now Mahindra and Cape Town's now in Diriyah.
And there's multiple track limits. Honestly, what on earth has the Indian EPrix done for us? Cape Town is next. In 2 weeks' time, when I'll be in a different commentary box, Ed will still be there, Nick will still be there, but things might look a bit different on the stream. Fingers crossed it'll be a good one, though.
I won't be there if Cape Town is suddenly moved into Saudi Arabia, that's for sure.
Someone get Tom Dillon on the phone, stat.
I'll make sure that doesn't happen.
With your power.
Cape Town will stay where it is.
What a fantastic race. That is, honestly, it was great. It was chaotic. And I think, guys, it's safe to say that Formula E has pretty much returned to normal after that race.
Yes, do not adjust your sets.
I'm certainly entertained.
Only slightly.
Yeah, well, the question is Cape Town going to be even more chaotic, though? Because we have no idea what's going to happen there. We don't even know who's going to be there. If it's going to be Van der Linde or Freins. I'm sure the South Africans will be hoping it's Kelvin.
The track map looks pretty tame.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Well, it was originally supposed to happen last year, wasn't it, Cape Town? Then there was a logistical sort of issue. So, it'll be interesting to see the final results. Because certainly Jake Bennett will certainly be looking to strike back. And I think the Jaguars will be hoping to get the first. They really kind of blew their first win of the season there, it has to be said, potentially. Because they could have still been in the mix near the end. Although I think Jev would have been very tough to beat either way.
I just thought, did Nick turn his camera on there? But it's another guy on the stream. Okay.
Oh no, it's what 3 words are.
Yes, which is a very useful
handy app
thing.
actually. Never had to use it though.
Yeah, I've got it though, just in case. It is very handy. Oh, we've all got it. Oh, good. Oh, the Vamos is ended now. We'll have to go to the results thing as well. Is that resolution, the results? It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Okay, let's confirm the race results then. Provisionally, as they stand here in Hyderabad, John-Eric Verne takes victory. Nick Cassidy is in second. Antonio Felix da Costa gets promoted to third. Pascal Wehrlein, despite having an up-down race, finishes fourth and extends the lead of the championship to 18 points to Jake Dennis. Sergio Sete Camara gets his best ever result in Formula E in 5th. Oliver Rowland is 6th. Norman Nato 7th. Stoffel van Dorn is 8th. Andre Lotter at 9th. Then Eduardo Mortara rounds out the top 10. Nico Muller is 11th. Sasha Fenestras 12th. Maximilian Gunther 13th. Lucas de Grassi 14th. Sebastian Buemi penalised for overpower is down in 15th. Jake Dennis got taken out in 16th. And then out of the race, Rene Rast, Jake Hughes, Sam Bird, Dan Tickton, Mitch Evans, and Kelvin van der Linde as well was out on lap 9 of the race. Well then, chaps. First to you, Ed. What do you think is going to happen when we get to South Africa?
You did it again. That must have been what they did. They got South Africa.
Yeah.
I think it's going to look completely different once more, and I think. I can't see Jake Dennis taking this sitting down. I think we're going to see Dennis fighting back and getting his championship back underway. I could see Jev start to build the title campaign out of this win if he keeps putting in good drives and getting in the points. But yeah, certainly teams championship I think is anyone's game at the moment. But drivers, I still think it's between Wehrlein and Dennis. With Wehrlein extending that lead with his 4th place in the end, it all sort of worked out pretty handily for him. So on a weekend where Wehrlein sort of crashed in free practice 1, it was sort of damage limitation in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, the big takeaway from today is Jaguar kind of a big missed opportunity for them. So I think they'll be looking to strike back as well. So certainly lots to digest from today, apart from all the errors, of course, and the comedy of errors almost.
Indeed that. Nick? What's happened to PK Jr. there? He looks a bit out of breath. Go on, Nick.
We all are, aren't we?
We are, yes.
Yeah, I think the rest of the season, it started off a bit processional with Dennis and Wehrlein, but this has just reminded you what Formula E should be like, this race. Obviously, it wasn't perfect at all. It was, organisationally, it was pretty terrible, I'd say. But the racing was very fun, and yeah, I'd expect Dennis to be absolutely on it when we get to the capital of Saudi Arabia, Cape Town.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Ed will be joining us then for the South Africa Diriyah EPrix coming up in 2 weeks' time. Okay, let's give you the coverage details then. We're back later on tonight as well for the AlphaTauri launch as well. That's at 10:55 p.m. GMT. Tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. GMT as well. We'll be live for the testing report from the Sepang MotoGP test as well, with all the action that's happened there. And in 2 weeks' time, we will be live once more as well with Formula 1. We're going pre-season testing there, and then afterwards as well, at the same time, we'll be in South Africa covering Formula E as well. Hopefully to see you both there as well. My thanks to Edward Hunter, my thanks to Nick Homewood, my thanks to you at home as well for joining us. Crazy race. Formula E definitely is back to normal. But there is one thing you can definitely now say about India with electric street racing. I don't know if there's more damage on the roads or on the racing circuit. Everyone was just playing the absolute Indian motorway traffic derby. Thanks for your company. We'll be back with the Grid Network show later on tonight at 5 p.m. GMT on the Grid Network. We'll upload it here as well because there are still multiple penalties to be found. See you in 2 weeks in South Africa. Thanks, Ed. Thanks, Nick. Bye for now.